Well, that's a way to start a show, but hey, I am Rooftop Sports and glad to be back after it has been since I think it was like Friday since I did the last show. And Daniel, how's it going? Thank you for being here. Make sure to hit the like button, make sure to subscribe, and also donate through the YouTube Super Chat or use my Venmo, which I can link to you, or use that QR code on my screen right there to donate and help support this channel. Looks like we got quite a bit of people already coming in. Hopefully we'll be up for another Mariners victory, as they did just win yesterday with a Cal Raleigh grand slam. And although the Twins tied that game, Mariners went ahead and scored more runs to make it 10-6 victory. And what a victory it was. And hopefully the Mariners can keep moving that forward. And we'll just go straight to it. Starting pitching for today will be George Kirby against Chris Paddack. Let's take a look at George Kirby's numbers. George Kirby is at 3-2 with a 3.76 ERA, 41 strikeouts, and just 4 walks. Absolutely insane. Chris Paddack is at 3-1 with a 4.78. And then we got 27 strikeouts and 7 walks. And looks like we got our friend right over here. We got Steve. And Steve, how's it going? Quite a victory it was yesterday.
Oh, man, it's going fantastic. Good afternoon to you. I hope everything is doing well back in the Pacific Northwest. And yes, yesterday,
it's a beautiful day. Can't complain.
Yep, I can't complain either. It's a gorgeous day here in the fighting town of Flint, Michigan. But yes, you're absolutely right. Yesterday was a very good offensive showing. They mixed in the long ball with along with manufacturing some runs. I would have liked to see Emerson go a little bit longer than 4 innings, but he kind of got roughed up after his first trip through the lineup. And then, of course, there were a few bullpen gaffes, but overall, the ability to not just come back, but also, after signs of adversity, they were able to extend the lead in the ninth and put that game away. So it was definitely a good win. There was a few things that concerned me, but overall, I don't think you can be upset with a win.
Absolutely not. But man, did they win at the skin of their teeth again. But looks like we got more transactions that have just happened for the Mariners. I just got to see what exactly they did, because I know it included that Emerson Hancock has actually been optioned down to AAA. And I think nobody should be surprised by this at this point, because he has been struggling. Like, he has shown good stuff at times, but okay, here are the moves. We got Edward Bizzardo. He's actually reinstated from his 15-day IL. Kirby Snead has actually been selected to be called up into AAA. Well, he's called up because Taylor Saucedo is now on a 15-day IL because of that bad knee injury. Emerson Hancock has been optioned to Tacoma. Once again, I'm not surprised this time around. I know some fans didn't want it, and I know there were also some fans that were hanging on hope, thinking that it was just that Brewers game, or it was just this game, but it just felt like there was just too many of those games. So I think he has to go down there and work on his stuff. Hopefully Brian Wu can officially take over. And then it is official. Matt Brash will be on the 60-day IL. That is now Santos and Brash on the 60-day IL.
Yeah, I got to say, though, I was actually quite impressed with Emerson Hancock. The Milwaukee start and the last night's start, notwithstanding, I actually thought he did a very good job, and he gave the Mariners exactly what you want from another number 5 starter. He kept you in the ball game. There was a couple starts where he had, he pitched a couple quality games there, 6-inning starts, and he did exactly what he was supposed to do. Which was keep your team in the ball game. And for him, it's all about location. It's all about composure. And if there's anything to work on down in Tacoma, it's just that. It's refining the secondary pitches and working on some of the little things, the command of those pitches. And, I think if you're the Seattle Mariners, you are absolutely happy with what Emerson gave you.
I would be too, because for a number 5 starter, he actually held up pretty well, and he couldn't have done worse than Marco Gonzalez and Chris Flexen from last season. And It's an absolute miracle that Marco was like 3-1 in that season. Now let's take a look at the starting lineups today. We got Josh Rojas is leading off. He has actually outplayed Eugenio Suarez in terms of production. He actually has more home runs than Eugenio Suarez, and that's just with less time. Next, second is Julio Rodriguez, and Julio's really got to get it going because he's really been struggling. Then we got Jorge Polanco, and again, let's have them swap 2 and 3. Let's have them do that.
Yeah.
Mitch Haniger, who hit a bomb last night. Cal Raleigh hit his 9th home run in a grand slam. And Mitch Garver is going to be up 167. Ooh. And then Ty France, ooh. Luke Raley, and then Dylan Moore. So that will be the lineup. And I don't think I have any oppositions to this. My only opposition is just nitpicking. Just swap Polanco and Rodriguez. Let's just see if it works just for this game or just anything, because clearly it's just not working. Because right now, I mean, Polanco is living and dying by the home run, and Julio, he seems to be effective when he wants to be. Aside from that, he just wants to kill the ball every time.
Right. Yeah, I agree. The thing about it is it's when you look at for me, this is, I think this is really about not necessarily 1 through 5, but also 6 through 9. The idea, I have a feeling that Mitch Garver is going to even out, and I think that by the trading deadline, I think Mitch Garver will be fine. I think he's too good of a player to continue on these trends. For me, the big question mark is going to be Ty France. I know Ty last night in the 9th inning also checked in with an RBI single. His value to me is when he was at his best, and I'm talking about 2021, 2022, when he was an all-star. He was the type of guy, his value was using the entire field, spraying balls to all fields, not necessarily selling out for the long ball, which I seem to think that he did last year. He went to Driveline this offseason to add a little bit more pull side power. That hasn't necessarily worked out. And for me, I think he's on the hot seat, especially when you consider, we're waiting for Dom Canzone to get back, JP Crawford to get back. And to me, that's going to be his time frame. Is he going to even out? Is he going to be able to be a little bit more productive by the time that happens? Because if not, then you're going to have to worry about that back end of your lineup. Because I think you're absolutely right. I think Luke Raley at this point seems to be the same type of guy where he's basically selling out for the home run instead of just using the entire field. And so you can't have multiples of that in the back half of your lineup. As a matter of fact, the back half of your lineup has to be keeping the line moving. It has to be quality at bats, putting the ball in play, and setting up the front, the front half of the lineup. So for me, that's the biggest concern for me, not just tonight, but also in games moving forward.
And his seat, it has gotten even hotter because we've got Tyler Locklear, who has been playing pretty well in Double-A. So maybe there's an opportunity for him. And also, there's been trade rumors of possibly maybe the Mariners looking at Pete Alonso. And some say the cost of that is, from what I've heard, and please do not quote me on this, it could include Ty France and Emerson Hancock. So that's something to look at. But man, Ty France has got a lot of work to do, or else he may not be on the Mariners for this long. Like maybe he won't even be on the team even before the season ends.
Well, they're not going to DFA him yet. I mean, I think he's only making 4.1, but to get to the Pete Alonso stuff, you have to realize that Pete's going to be a free agent after this season. So he's going into his walk year. And yes, everybody gets excited for the home run, but we're also dealing with a lineup that currently right now is constantly sitting on the 3-run home run. And that's not necessarily the type of guys that you want in your lineup, considering, you got the Julio, you got Cal, you got Haniger, you got guys that already do what Pete Alonso does. And the cost of trading for him in his walk year, knowing that after this year, you're going to be right back in the same situation. I don't necessarily like that idea. But to the Tyler Locklear, portion of that, he's just in he just got to Double-A late last year. I think he still hasn't even played 50 games at the Double-A level. I don't think you're going to see Ty Locklear in case something drastically happens within the next 30 days. But even then, I would probably think you're not going to see him at the earliest until the second half of the season.
I do like the points that, we can acknowledge that we already have the power hitting home run hitters. Yeah. And it seems that if we get Pete Alonso, because just based on what we have here, it could just not be any different. Maybe we just be having basically another Teoscar Hernandez at that point.
That's exactly right, and this is what this lineup is. I mean, Eugenio Suarez, Teoscar Hernandez, Mitch Garver, Mitch Haniger. I mean, we already have that complexity to the lineup. What this lineup needs is more contact, more on base. We need more guys that are like Josh Rojas or Luis Urias, but maybe a little bit better. You know what would have been awesome? Luis Urias, who just got traded from Miami to San Diego. That would have been absolutely fantastic in this lineup.
Yeah, so
those
are good points.
A guy who can hit 360 and he's got like a 380 OBP. That's not necessarily going to hit home runs, but he's also going to get on base every single time he comes to the plate.
At least for most of the time. And looks like we are getting ready to go as we got the Minnesota Twins. They are up against the Seattle Mariners. And for my thumbnail, I should have put in Carlos Correa instead of some randomo. And now we've got Josh Rojas. He's going to be up to the plate. And this first pitch is going to be brought to you by SeatGeek. SeatGeek, get your $20 off if you use my promo code Rooftop Sports. And here is that promo code. And Josh Rojas is getting ready to go. He is absolutely, I would say, been the most efficient player on the Mariners. Like, he's off to a very still surprising start, still holding up at a 340 batting average, something that we're not really used to anymore. And now the first pitch is about to be coming in. And here is that first pitch. And that is in there for a strike, and we are underway here in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Josh Rojas, the leadoff hitter, has been playing very well.
And yeah, this is Chris Paddack, who's going to be featuring his four-seam fastball probably about 40% of the time. He's also going to mix in the changeup and the slider. So again, just like Bailey over last night, there's going to be opportunities to get some base hits tonight.
And now here's the pitch, and that is going to be low for a ball. Career versus Chris Paddack. He is 2 for 8, so he's batting .250. And here's the 2-1. And a swing and a miss right down the middle, and that's going to be strike 2. That was a fastball, and that was his pitch right there.
Absolutely. And, of course, these two are familiar with each other, being in the National League West, Paddack with the San Diego Padres, and, of course, Rojas with the Diamondbacks. So I'm,
2-2. Up high for a ball, 3-2. You were saying?
I was going to say, yeah, I would be wondering if this actually favors Rojas more than it favors Paddack, just because
3-2.
He's going to understand his arsenal.
And that was a foul ball. Last game defeated the Twins 10-6, and the Mariners, unfortunately, in that last game they lost, and that was with complete offensive futility. And we're looking at a 3-2.
And that's the weird sign of a mediocre
swing and a miss, strike 3, down goes Rojas, and we got one down.
Where they have that offensive utility that night where they can't get anything going, and the next night they break out with 10. So you're wondering what tonight's going to be in store. Is it going to be something in between? Is it going to be a 6-run performance? What's going to happen against a guy like Chris Paddack, who, by the way, is very hittable.
Here's Julio Rodriguez, and that is up high for a ball. And I mean, for some reason, I just didn't feel too angry about Monday. It was like, you're not going to win them all kind of thing.
Right.
And Castillo still did his job too.
Right.
1-0.
You don't want to see a 14 strikeout performance from your offense. I mean,
you don't. It was embarrassing. We're looking at a 1-1. 9 pitches in for Paddack. Julio's batting .255 with 1 home run and 11 RBIs. And now here's a fly ball, actually more like a line drive, and caught by the ball man. I'm so used to saying ball girl, but it's ball man, I guess. Yeah. Julio with only 5 extra base hits this season. He has 36 hits to count. And now we're looking at the 1-2 for Julio. And now here's the pitch. And now here's a line drive, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. And we got Julio Rodriguez. He reaches out to first base, and that is with a 1-out single. Good of Julio to not just completely kill the ball, but he just slapped it.
Yeah, it's a fastball up in the zone, and Julio just it seemed like he was a little behind on the fastball, but still got the barrel on it and drives it in the right field. Good piece of hitting. And now you have some speed on first base, which is it's going to be essential to see if they're going to put Julio in motion here, maybe steal a base. Maybe
I would definitely do it.
Yeah, put on the hit and run right here. Absolutely.
Now here's Polanco. Check swings for a ball. And Polanco knows this stadium too, so you would think it would be advantageous for him.
Right. You have a good guy at the plate where you can employ a little bit of the hit and run right here because you just nailed it right on the head right there. He understands the stadium better.
1-0, and that's going to be a 1-1 count. And I'm wondering why Julio hasn't stolen yet. Like, he has the wheels to do it. Really surprised he hasn't done it by now.
Well, I think it's also that's really kind of the Mariner way, right? They kind of like to be a little
1-1
station. They don't want to give up outs.
They don't want it. Yep, they don't want it. That's the Oakland way. Yeah. That's what drove fans crazy, is they never stole bases. And they had legs to do it. They just didn't do it.
Sure. And I think, but that being said, though, the more you attack your opponent, the more likely they're going to make mistakes.
2-1.
That's the counter.
And that is going to be foul ball, strike 2. Season against the Twins, he is batting 111, so he has struggled. So maybe Polanco knows the Twins, but also the Twins know him. So they ain't getting fooled.
Right.
Julio has a kind of a sizable lead at first base. No check runner because he doesn't believe Julio's going to steal.
Right.
And here's the 2-2. And that is popped up and fouled.
And if you notice, it looks like Paddock is going away, staying away from his power side. And that was, that last one was actually kind of a mistake, that foul ball. I mean, that was kind of middle right there.
Now we're looking at the 2-2 for Jorge Polanco. Now here's the 2-2. And that is popped up to left field. And I don't think that's going to be enough for Julio to go to second base. Of course not. And that's going to be caught, and Julio has to go back. And now we got 2 outs. And up next is going to be Mitch Haniger.
Let's go, Mitchell.
Mitch Haniger's batting .215 this season. He did hit the home run last night. He now has 5 home runs this season thus far. Mitch Haniger, one of the beloved Mariners in history.
Yeah, it would be nice to see Mitchell get into a groove. I think he made those comments a few weeks back where he said that he wasn't quite 100% all the way there. It'd be nice to see him put together a string of 10 at-bats where he's got 6 hits. That'd be nice.
And now that is going to be up high for a ball, 1-1 or 1-0. Haniger, .215 with 5 home runs and 20 RBIs. Camera showing Scott Service. 18 pitches for Paddock. Now here is going to be... Oh, throw back to first. Julio gets back in time.
Yeah. Keeping the runner close.
He's doing what he could. Julio with another big lead.
And
pretty big lead.
And now with 2 outs, I wouldn't be surprised if Julio attempts a stolen base here.
Wonder if he is 1-0, and that's going to be a 1-1 count for Mitch Haniger. I am actually a little bit surprised Julio hasn't stolen yet. It would be nice to put himself in position with runners in scoring position, knowing how streaky this offense really is, especially with Haniger being just 1 for 5 against Paddock. Now here's the 1-1. And that's going to be low for a ball, 2-1.
Interesting. Those first 2 pitches were roughly right in the same area in the top of the zone, and one was called a ball, one was called a strike.
Umpires with eyes, or without. Here's a 2-1, and a swing and a miss, strike 2, but Julio goes to second base. Finally, he goes to second base. And he did it standing up, too. Julio had a big jump on that. Catcher's looking at his chart. Maybe it's chart of pitches. Who knows? With runners in scoring position, Mitch Haniger is batting .290, which is why I kept telling Julio to just steal it. And now here's the 2-2. Yep. And that is a foul ball.
Yeah, absolutely. And Julio did exactly that. So, and Mitch, that's the thing, that pitch that Mitch just fouled off, that was along the inside portion, but That's a pitch you can't miss. You know he wants that pitch back.
And now we're looking at the 2-2, and here's the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 3, and that's going to retire the side. Julio is left stranded at second base. We go to the bottom of the first. It is no score, and a word from our sponsor of SeatGeek. But before I even show the SeatGeek, this is how I feel for the Mariners not scoring. SeatGeek is a mobile ticketing app for sporting events, concerts, and other events. They make the buying experience easier by the app ranking each ticket from 0 to 10 to see if you are getting a good deal, and you can see exactly where you are sitting. I regularly use that app, and I have had nothing but a fantastic experience with SeatGeek. Use my promo code RooftopSports to get $20 off of your first purchase. Link to the code, app, and website will be in the description, so take advantage, and thank you. Yep, use that promo code RooftopSports for your $20 off, and well, we are waiting to get into the next inning, and hopefully the Mariners defense can hold it up. With George Kirby, you would like your chances, would you?
You would think so. George is one of your ace 1A, 1B, 1B, 1C type guys right there. I mean, it all depends on what kind of stuff he's got. Now we know that word is that he had an MRI done on his knee because he had been playing through some pain. But I got word that George is actually doing pretty fine with that. So we'll see. We'll see what kind of George we're going to see tonight.
I still stand that I still don't think it was worth the precaution to pull him out from that Houston game. My point still stands on that. And I know a lot of Mariner fans are really upset, including Ryan Divish, where they were pretty much saying, you can't say that. That's Scott Service's call. George Kirby was hurt. I was like, but there was not really legitimate reports yet.
Right. Well, and you know how the Mariners are going to be. They're going to be ultra cautious when it comes to their arms. It doesn't matter the arm. They're going to err on the side of caution. So
even if it means to take Matt Brash out.
Yeah. Listen, it is what. Yeah. Actually, no. In that case, they're going to overuse Matt Brash.
Yeah. And it has already been affecting. And we got a fly ball, and that's going to be Julio who makes the catch, and that is one down in just one pitch. We've got one out already.
Yeah, and then it's a little fastball that was running away, a little two-seamer, and very good play. One pitch, one away. And it's going to be interesting to see how the Twins attack George too, because George is going to be the guy that likes to use his fastball early. Establish counts, gets ahead, and the Twins are a very good fastball hitting team, so it's going to be an interesting little chess match tonight.
We've got Carlos Correa up to the plate. He's batting .262 this season. Former Astro, who I wanted the Mariners to at least take a stab at in the free agency. It would have been cool to have Carlos Correa on the Mariners. 0-1, and that is going to be a ball.
Yeah. Carlos Correa, former star with the Houston Astros, and didn't necessarily have the free agency he thought he was going to have. And ended up in Minnesota, opted out, and then...
Oh, and here's a fly ball to deep left field, and Julio is tracking, and that is gone. Carlos Correa just absolutely blasted one, and the Twins have now taken a 1-0 lead.
And that was a hanger right there. It looked like it was a slider that hung out right out of the over the plate, and Correa's not going to miss those pitches.
He's not, and looks like that pitch, and that was just absolutely just bombed. Like you can see it from the face of George Kirby. He was like,
knew it as soon as he hit it. They know it, and that's the danger of messing around in the middle of the plate, and
even with the breaking stuff, still got it.
I actually think you probably could have hit that out. I mean, that was right out over the plate.
Well, I'm not a power hitter. That's the thing.
Well, still, though.
I'm a slap hitter, and I'm actually trying to walk as I get older. 0-1. And now here's another fly ball to deep right field, and that is gone. A back-to-back home run off of the second deck, and now it's 2-0 Minnesota.
And that, you know, that's again, it's a slider that was in on the plate a little bit, but that being said, it still catches enough of it as Larnach. They go back to back, and now all of a sudden the Mariners are in an 0-2 hole.
Yeah,
and that was quick. Although I will say that slider was a little bit better placed than the one to Correa.
The placement was there. The placement was there.
Yeah, it's still.
He just happened to hit it.
Yeah, it still catches a good portion of the inside portion of the plate, and Larnach just puts a phenomenal swing on it.
And here is Max Kepler up to the bat. And we're looking at an 0-1 as he took a strike, and he swings and misses again. That's going to be strike 2.
Yeah.
I wonder for my YouTube shorts, I'm probably going to do that. No! Each time.
Well, the good news is that it's only the first inning, so we still have 8 more innings of baseball left to play. The bad news is
strike 3. Down goes Kepler.
The bad news is George has to get his shit together like ASAP. Because the last thing you need is another situation where he only goes 4 innings, and then you have to rely on your bullpen to close out the final 6 innings of the game after last night. So they really need George to at least go 6 tonight.
And now here is the pitch, and that is going to be a strike. Trying to see if there's any Twitters going on. Not really much has been said.
Well, what's there to say?
Not much. It's just you just let those 2 pitches get away. That's all. Haven't heard fans say it's over though. And that's Jose Miranda. He's batting .294 with 2 home runs and 8 RBIs. And I'll be back on Friday for some more Mariners games, and we got Steve who will be back as well. The pitch. Yeah. And Cal Raleigh tried to frame that. And also, just an alert, I may only be available at most once or twice a week due to don't quit your day job situation. So it is what it is. So, I mean, I'm not too mad about it. 2-1. Now, here's a ground ball right to the shortstop, Dylan Moore, to throw to first. And that is in time for out number 3. But Mariners gave up 2 runs, and Twins lead 2-0. And that was so frustrating that I got to do this.
Modern Exterior Solutions is a fully licensed and insured full-service exterior renovations company serving Seattle and East Side communities. We know that a home is one of your most important possessions. That's why we're committed to providing high-quality, affordable home renovations for each customer's individual budget. We're diverse enough to meet the challenges of any project you put in front of us. Our workmanship minimizes the use of third-party services, and our team works together to meet all your deadlines. Anytime there's a challenge, we work with you to find a solution. We're proud to work with distributors of quality brand products with durable, ample protection from the elements for a variety of applications, including James Hardie siding and trim. Talk with us today about your project's needs, and we can help you solve all the challenges along the way.
And if you would like your house fixed up very high bougie way, use that promo code Modern Rooftop for 20% off. QR code available for the website. And our friend Dustin said that Teoscar Hernandez has just hit his 10th home run. They are definitely missing him in the lineup. Now, I don't blame you for saying it. I don't blame you at all for saying it, but we're going to say this. If Teoscar Hernandez was on the Mariners, he would maybe have 5 home runs because he would still be striking out a ton. And he's in a different situation than the Dodgers. Sometimes change of scenery is all someone needs. He plays in a very hitter's park. He's maybe their 5th best player on the team, while Teoscar was like 3rd best. So situation's different.
Right. And of course you mentioned ballpark. You do have to adjust for ballpark, but you also have to adjust for lineup as well too. And also when you think about how the Mariners approach hitting with the control the zone, where you're going to see a lot of off-speed pitches. You're going to see a lot of sweepers and sliders. Teoscar Hernandez probably might be approaching 5 at this point of the season. He certainly wouldn't be at 10 or rounding 10. And he probably would be leading the team in strikeouts if he were still wearing a Mariners uniform.
Yeah, they would be like, we shouldn't have gave him that qualifying offer. That's what they would have said. And now here is looking at the 0-1, and now here's the pitch. And I can argue that I think the Mariners would be in a slightly worse position because some of those plays that Mitch may have been able to field, Teoscar would let those go right through him.
Right.
Although Mitch has made his mistakes, but not like Teoscar.
Sure.
The pitch and fouled.
For sure.
Like, I remember watching two of his boneheaded ones where the ball bounces and he somehow let it go right through him. Just watching him run for it, it was just funny. When I look back at it, it's funny, but it was terrifying at the time. And now we're looking at the 1-2. Here's the pitch and foul ball.
Yeah, the Dodgers aren't counting on Teoscar Hernandez to be the prime source of power in their lineup. They already have that covered. And Teoscar can just go out there and be free, chase fastballs, and understand that he's protected in front and in back of them, and so it's just a completely different situation. And I don't think that it would have made it. I don't think it would have made a difference if he was in Seattle.
And Suarez would be the same situation too, especially with a slightly older Suarez.
Yeah,
I think we're looking at the 1-2, and here is the pitch, and that is up high for a ball. And interestingly, Rojas actually has a higher wins above replacement than Eugenio Suarez does. Like, when I looked at Suarez numbers, he's basically doing last year's numbers.
Sure. Yeah, Suarez, will probably finish
2-2.
20 plus.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, another strikeout.
Yeah, he'll probably finish with 20 plus home runs, but he'll strike out 150 plus, and his batted ball will not be there.
150 strikeouts for Suarez would be an improvement.
Well, I'm saying 150 plus.
Yeah.
So
well, even if you say 150 plus, if it's like 170, that's like an improvement. And now here's Garver, and that is a strike. And I believe Garver was also a former Twin.
He was. He came up with the Minnesota Twins and had a nice had a career year in a Twins uniform before being traded to Texas. So yeah, another former Twinkie who knows how to hit in this ballpark.
And you would think that he would know, because he's really got to get it going. And hopefully this is the series. Here is the 1-1. And what was that? He just swung it like, whoopsie.
Yeah. This Olay.
Come on, Dorn. Get in front of the damn ball. Don't give me this Olay bull crap.
Well, I'll tell you what, if he keeps swinging like that, he just might get Paddock a cold.
Here's 1-2. And that is... Hey, look, I took one in the eye last year. I'm not going to lose my sights. I'm deeply moved. Every time you play one off your hips, you owe me 40 sit-ups. What?
Hey, Lou, you remember that? You remember those sit-ups you wanted me to do? I have it here in my contract. What do you think about that?
Yeah, here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that was the best part of the whole movie. I love a manager like that. He's like, he just pisses on. He's like, now go do your sit-ups.
Yeah, for sure. He hits a ton. Why hasn't everybody else picked up on him? All right, Nelson. Enough fastball.
And now here's a fly ball foul. No, not enough fastballs. Give him some breaking balls. Aye! Oh.
Yeah, and you can't hit it.
That's how I feel when I do real estate. When I look at a listing that looks really beautiful house, I go, geez, why didn't anyone pick this up for this price? All right, let's take a look at the pictures. Oh,
yeah.
The map. Oh, it's right off the street. 2-2. Like, I saw this really beautiful house in like Maple Valley. Great price. No one was budging. But then when I took a look at the pictures and zoomed in, there was like a huge power line like right behind. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
3-2. And a foul ball. Good contact, but just couldn't.
I like Maple Valley. It's been a while.
Gorgeous.
It's been a while since I had been out there, but as a kid, I used to be in Maple Valley quite a bit, in the Ravensdale area out there, Four Corners. So, yeah.
If I have a family and kids, I would totally raise my kids there. 3-2. And that is ball 4. Take your base, and Mitch Garver will get on base with a walk.
There you go. Good at bat right there. And, the fastball wasn't there for him, so he just waited Paddock out there and drew a nice little walk, and that's exactly what the Mariners need, traffic on the base.
And breaking news around the league, Yankee slugger Giancarlo Stanton, still on the Yankees, hit a home run. And now here's Ty France. And Ty France reminds you, you don't have to hit a home run. Just move something. And that's a strike.
What a sellout.
Why, he sold out of the Miami Marlins?
No, it's just, he didn't necessarily have the say-so. Actually, he did have the say-so in where he wanted to get traded. He wanted to get traded to the Yankees, and then he re-upped with the Yankees. Then he re-upped with the Yankees.
I mean, you can't blame him. He wanted to play for a winner. And when someone gives you that opportunity and they want you that badly, you do it.
The Yankees. I could have think about 3 other teams I'd rather play for that are winners.
Houston.
Yeah,
Houston would have done it though.
Houston, Atlanta, LA,
Texas.
Can you imagine Giancarlo Stanton, like not Yankees now Stanton, but Stanton, like Marlins Stanton in Texas?
Hey, 50 home runs guaranteed.
Or in Houston with the short porch out there in left field. Ooh.
But he won 2. Strike out to Ty France. He was trying to kill that ball. It's like, Ty, you don't have to hit home runs. Like, you can hit, if you hit like 5 home runs, but you're batting like 270, I will more than take that.
Yeah, and again, this is a guy who's in a contract year situation, and this is
ground ball, fair ball into the corner. Actually, no, the umpire said foul.
It's going to be a situation where he's going to get non-tendered, and the thing about this is that he wanted to be like, that's the thing, because he plays a position where it's required that you have to have some power peripheral. It's understandable. If you play first base, you have to at least be a 20 to 25 home run guy, if not pushing 30. And so he knew that, and he knew what the value would be because he wants to get paid. And so he tried to be that guy. But unfortunately, it's like, if you're a ball player, you have to know what your strengths are, and then what you can build upon off that foundation. And for Ty, it was using the entire field, being a doubles guy, being a singles guy, driving in runs. Like if he was like
swing and a miss, strike 3, and that's going to retire the side. We go to the bottom of the second. It is 2-0 Minnesota.
Like if he was a 15 home run, 85 RBI guy, that would be phenomenal. You know what I mean? Like if he was like a 280, 360 OBP, 420 slugging, that type of guy where he's hitting 50 plus doubles a year, that would be beautiful.
I'll more than take that than someone hitting 20 home runs, but it's just not happening. And with Ty France, you would wonder if he's on his contract year, you would wonder what's going to be next for him. And you would wonder what's going to be next for the first baseman. Do they go with Tyler Locklear as a call up? Do they maybe sign the check for Pete Alonso? Because knowing Scott Boris's history and his failed free agency, it's not like he may not have as much leverage to put anything on Pete Alonso. So maybe will the Mariners clear the bags for Pete Alonso for first base?
I doubt it. I doubt it. Jerry DiPoto is not a free agent type of guy. He's going to, first go with the in-house solution. I'll say this: by the end of June, if Ty France is not there, I'll give you a good example. Last year, the Mariners waited till the trading deadline to finally DFA Colton Wong. He was making $8 million last year, and so they didn't want to DFA him early because they didn't want to eat and absorb a large portion of the contract and have him end up somewhere in the division. And so they waited, and eventually he settled with LA. The problem with this, it's the exact same thing. He's only making 4.1, but they're going to wait to DFA him when the cost isn't going to be exorbitantly high. And so I would probably think that by the end of June, as we're getting to the All-Star break, if he still hasn't hit, I would probably think that you would probably see Tyler Locklear at that point. But again, you want to make sure that Tyler Locklear is ready to come up, that he's ready to handle the responsibility, because the last thing you want to do is bring a kid up who's not ready, and then you just completely burn his confidence.
Yeah, burned everything, just like what they did with Mike Zunino before, although he was talented anyway. Now looking at,
Jared
and by the
Nolan.
way, we got one out. And looking at Ty France's contract, his earliest arbitration of eligible is 2025. So he's a free agent in 2026 is when he's the earliest free agent. But looking at that contract, does that mean that they could just cut him loose after 2024?
Well, yeah. So what they would do is instead of offering him arbitration, they would non-tender him. So
1-0.
Which means they're just not even offering him a contract, and
so it's basically a team option kind of contract.
Yeah, exactly. They would just default and say no, we're good, we're not.
I'm not gonna bother giving him a contract. So that's the one time I'm okay going cheap is, let's not get Ty France.
Yeah,
1-1. Foul ball.
This was all in Ty's corner. And he started off his Mariner career like gangbusters, and then he, for whatever reason, just decided that, power was going to be his game, and that
backfired.
It stunted his growth.
It actually made his home runs worse when he tried.
Right. I mean, I understand that he wasn't, prototypical for the first base position. He was a second baseman, third baseman originally coming up, and that type of style, that type of game actually suited those positions. But, once he became a first baseman, I think I just got into his head as far as offensively goes.
We're looking at Willie Castro, 2-2 count, 0 for 6 in the series. Here is the pitch, up high for a ball. Kevin Kirby, wish we didn't score 10 runs last night. You know what? I'm happy they scored 10 runs because you want to make sure you get as much runs as possible. Just because you score less runs doesn't mean it's going to translate to the next game.
Right.
I don't buy those arguments.
Yeah, I don't buy those arguments either.
And that's foul ball. Like, you can't just you can't transfer a run or two in the next game. It doesn't work that way.
Well, but also they took advantage of a Minnesota bullpen that didn't have its two best arms because they pitched the night before. And so, the Mariners did what they were supposed to do, take advantage. And today,
3-2 pitch. And here's a fly ball to deep right field, another home run. And now it's going to be a 3-0 Twins lead. That was just smoked.
And again, fastball. This one is a fastball on the lower portion of the plate. And right now the Twins are barreling everything up.
And it's just off, and it's just home runs. And it's not like the Twins are like grinding them up. It's just, they're just hitting homers now.
Right, but that's the thing. It's now the Mariners are a 3-0 hole, and we're now in the bottom of the second, and before we know it, we'll be in the sixth. So,
now you saw it.
It's time for the Mariners to put their big boy pants on and get some runs.
Yeah, it's all about getting the runs. Like, we can't just put this on George Kirby completely. Like, sure, his pitches weren't where they supposed to be, but also the offense isn't doing their thing either. Here's the 0-1, and that's a foul ball. And the worst part of this, I'm George Kirby, still my favorite pitcher. It's just he's just very streaky this year.
Yeah, George had the 12 strikeout performance. I believe it was two starts ago.
It was two starts ago, and then the Houston start. So maybe that him getting pulled may have something to do with him mentally. The 0-2.
I also wonder if the knee issue, the knee soreness is also playing a role, because you have the push off leg and your plant leg.
We got Dustin. Man, you're having quite a day, aren't you, Dustin, with all these statements? I'll read it in just a moment. I won't block you, I swear.
Right.
The 0-2. Now here's a ground ball right to Dylan Moore to throw to first. And it's in time. Now let's read this one. I think I like this one. It's funny. Let's just trade the house for Pete Alonso. Who cares if these prospects might or might not be good in 3 years? They shouldn't wait until the trade deadline. Well, one, I don't know if they're going to do anything in the trade deadline anyway. And two, I would not trade the house for Pete Alonso. I just cannot see that happening. I'm not trading like Johnny Farmelo and Lazaro Montez. Hell no.
We already have high strikeout, high power guys in our lineup. But the other thing is also Pete Alonso's a free agent after the season. And the last thing you want to do is trade away a guy like Montez, or trade a guy like or even trade a guy like Tyler Locklear to get a guy like Pete Alonso, knowing that he's going to walk after the season. And you're also bringing Pete Alonso into a Mariners lineup, and there's a very good chance that they're going to try to change Pete Alonso's approach to the plate. And the last thing you want to do is mute a dude like that. So I understand people's fascination with Pete Alonso. He hits a ton. He hits a lot of home runs, but he
strikes out a butt ton too. He would strike out a ton too. He'll strike out as much as Teoscar or Eugenio Suarez here.
Yeah, he's feast or famine. And this team needs more guys that are going to be able to cash in with a single or a double with runners in scoring position, not dudes that are going to strike out with runners in scoring position.
Farmelo and Emerson, they're probably at least 3 years away, so I get that. Now, let's take a look at these prospects, and we can have a quick debate whether to say trade or keep. Cole Young.
Keep.
Harry Ford.
Keep.
Cole Emerson.
I would trade him.
I think I would too. Plus, he's already shown some kind of injury red flags a bit.
Well, but also the Mariners also have a glutton of middle infielders.
Yeah, they do.
So you can afford to get rid of one. You keep the best one.
Mazaro, Montez. 100% keeping that mofo. Put him in right field when he's ready.
Yeah, you're keeping Montez. Yeah. 100%.
So we can have the Jordan Alvarez and the Montez rivalry. Felny, Celestine.
I will say this though about Harry Ford, and it all depends on what Mariner management is going to do with Cal Raleigh. Are they going to sign him long term? Is this going to be a situation where you're keeping Harry Ford to be a long term DH, or maybe Cal Raleigh's going to be your new DH, and then Harry Ford's going to be behind the plate? There's a lot of things that go in with Harry Ford, but that being said, I would definitely keep.
And now we are back from the break. Here is Dylan Moore, and we'll talk about more prospects. We'll probably go up to the top 10. And now here's the pitch. And here's a line drive, and right to the second baseman to throw to first, and it's in time. I thought that was going to get through for a base hit, which is why I said line drive. It certainly seemed to be a ground ball.
Yeah.
Ty Pete, I would trade.
I would trade too. I would also keep Emerson Hancock as well too. The last thing you want to do is trade from your starting pitching depth, just because you just never know when injuries creep up. It's nice having a guy who you can just plug and play, and a guy like Emerson Hancock is absolutely valuable, so you keep him.
And he can work on his game in Tacoma, and I'm sure he understands that he did get sent down. I don't think he's offended by it one bit.
No. I'm sure he knew what the program was too.
He probably knew. He already figured that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Offense is bad again. We're aware of that very well. And now here is Josh Rojas. He's working on a 2-0 count so far.
Oh, no. We suck again.
2-0, and that is foul ball. Oh, no. We suck again.
Yeah, we suck again. You can do it.
2-1. And that is fouled. Now he's down to 2 strikes.
It's amazing how Chris Paddock is just mowing through the Mariner lineup. And, Chris Paddock was
supposed to be that good of a pitcher either.
Yeah. Chris Paddock is a dude that got roughed up when he was with the Padres. And I think the Mariners also had roughed him up in the past as well, too.
And here's a backhanded play, and Josh Rojas is out. I hate to say it, but that was a good play.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, a little grounder up the gut right there. Good play at second base. And of course, he's like, I'm safe by like 3 strides. He's out by 3 strides, but yeah.
Yeah, he's just barely. Oh, maybe he could challenge that. I wonder if Scott Servais is going to challenge. Well, with 2 outs, I wouldn't challenge it.
No.
Or it would just be 1 out. Oh, looks like they are challenging. Mariners will challenge it. I guess they're going to. And now...
I think he might be safe.
He might be safe. It's crazy to think that if we had the review, if we had the challenge abilities in 2002, Lou Piniella would have never thrown that base. And it's overturned. He's safe.
Yeah, that's funny.
2002, when Ben Davis nearly scored in a run, and CB Bucknor called him out. If there was a challenge, they would have won.
Right.
But they did win, like the next inning or two later. But Lou Piniella wouldn't have thrown a base. Where would the Mariners be without Rojas? Nowhere. It'd be pretty bad. He's actually been one of the more valuable players on the Mariners.
Yeah.
Now here's Julio Rodriguez up to the plate. And here's the pitch. And that is a strike. And regarding Josh Rojas, I wasn't necessarily worried about Rojas. I was worried about the whole platoon idea of Luis Urias because he was out of shape. So that's what I was worried about. But Rojas, I never really doubted much because he does have the athletic ability to play at third base in the hot corner. And now we're looking at the 0-1 to Julio. And that is up high for a ball, 1-1.
And I think I mentioned this to you as well. I wasn't worried about it at all, because I know what a healthy Luis Urias is going to be able to provide you, and that dude, is a guy who you can count on in the later innings to get a double or get a base hit. He checked in with I think it was in the Houston series where he checked in with that base hit that scored Demo. That ended up tying the game. So I wasn't necessarily worried about the third base platoon as I was about Dominic Canzone. That's what I was worried about.
And he's still recovering. Yeah. And Julio's working on a 1-2. And now I'm looking at Luis Urias. He has the weirdest numbers I've ever seen. His average is awful. OBP is awful, but he has a .435 slugging percentage, which is actually close to his career high. And now we're looking at the 1-2. Now here's a line drive, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. That's going to be 2 runners on base, and now we got a runner in scoring position. Hopefully the Mariners can take advantage of this.
And with one out, a high fastball, and Julio is that's the second time that he's checked in with a base hit on the fastball up in the zone. So there you go. Maybe this might be the start of Julio finally getting extended on pitches and driving the ball. Nice little base hit right there. And now you have runners on first and second with only one out. This is a very good opportunity to get back into this ball game.
Really is. And that is up high, up and in for a strike, actually. And we're looking at an 0-1 count.
Right. And, Polanco is a type of guy that feasts on the fastball. And it's going to be interesting to see how he works on the first pitch, obviously up and in on the hands for a strike. But the
0-1. Bad swing by Polanco. That's going to be an 0-2.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is that ball was a little sinker right there and looked like he was way out in front of it. That was actually incredibly ugly.
Now we're looking at the 0-2. The 0-2 to Polanco. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And just at a blink of an eye, Polanco strikes out on 3 pitches, and he swung and missed on all of them. Well, actually, 2 of them.
And it's interesting how do you justify having a dude like Polanco hitting third? That is the third position is generally the position in the lineup where you put your best power hitter in that position. And
Service isn't even doing that.
Right. And Julio obviously it's either Julio or it's Cal Raleigh. But that being said, Cal Raleigh has already had a few games in the number 3 position. And I don't think that he was necessarily cut out for that position either.
Looks like we got someone warming up in the bullpen or just having a practice pitching thing. No idea. Oh, someone must be that was called up. It must be the one that's pitching.
How would you feel if they had Jonathan Clase as a part of a package? Would you be okay if they traded away Clase?
Depends who you get, which I would not exactly be 100% opposed, even though when he does play, he does make impact. And now we're looking at the 0-1 for Mitch Haniger. And here is the pitch. And that is outside for a ball. Because I just don't see Clase as a future. Let's take a look at his numbers, though. But he did make impact when he was on the Mariners, though.
I think the guy that probably makes the most impact for the Mariners right now, as far as guys in AAA, would probably be Samad Taylor, who can play multiple positions.
He can, and he's fast, and he hustles.
But the other guy that you have down there that you can call up in a pinch that if you need an outfielder is Cade Marlowe.
Cade Marlowe. And Shauna, our friend Shauna, will tell you that. She'd be the first to tell you that.
Yeah, she'll be the first to tell you a lot. And anything you want to know about Cade Marlowe, that's your gal right there.
Yeah, Shauna, and I will.
She knows where he went to high school.
She knows all these crazy stories.
Oh, and Mitch missed his pitch. Good Lord, Mitch.
Oh boy.
Come on, Mitchell.
Mitch, do something.
Mitchell Friedman? Who are these guys?
2-2. And a swing and a miss, strike 3, and that's going to retire the side. 2 strikeouts in a row to end the inning. We go to bottom of the third, still 3-0 Minnesota.
Another wasted opportunity with runners in scoring position, and now they're 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position.
Pretty much, it just keeps getting worse.
And that was that looks like that was a change. And the bottom dropped right out of it, and Mitch just swung right over the top.
There's the Twitter handle for the Cade Marlowe fans, so go ahead and give her a tweet. Yeah. And let's take a look at the prospects.
Yeah. Just a quick disclaimer, though, if you do get into a conversation with Shauna, she will talk your ear off. So be prepared. This girl
Very
loves
prepared.
Cade Marlowe. Yeah, be prepared. She loves Cade Marlowe.
Number 5, Felnine Celestine. I'd keep.
I would keep, just considering he's only 18 years old, and he's only a rookie ball, and he's been
playing very well in it.
Right, but and then last year he was hurt, so this is really his first opportunity to play a first season. I would probably hold on to him just to see what he's got.
Next will be Johnny Farmello. I'd keep him. The upside's there.
The upside is there. I'd keep him as well too.
Ty Pete, we already agreed that he should be traded eventually. Yeah. I saw him. He looks too streaky of a player. Tyler Locklear, I'm keeping because
it depends. It depends on who we're getting.
True.
Right. It depends. Are we like, for instance, I'm just throwing this out there. Let's just say that there was an opportunity to get a guy like on the Minnesota Twins, a guy like Max Kepler, where exactly what you're getting, right? You're getting a phenomenal bat. And it would cost, say, it would cost maybe Jonathan Clase and Tyler Locklear and, say, Emerson Hancock. I would probably do that.
And now we are looking at a 1-0 count so far for George Kirby. And as the pitcher, here is the pitch. And that is a ground ball foul. The crazy thing is, the Twins, their only 3 hits have been home runs. So it's not like Kirby's having a bad start at all. It's just he let 3 pitches just really get away.
Yeah. That being said, though, and the reason why I wouldn't have a problem with it, because the Mariners know how to identify and go out and find talent, and they can always trade for an impact bat at first base if needed. But that being said, it all depends on the player that they're trading for. What I consider moving Ty Locklear.
And now we're looking at the 1-2, and that is going to be inside for a ball. We're looking at a 2-2 count.
I guess my question is, it all depends on, do you think that Ty Locklear is really that game-changing bat that can be that 25 to 30 home run bat at first base? That's
remains to be seen.
Yeah.
And strike 3 called, and down he goes, and we're looking at a 1 down. Would you trade Emerson Hancock and Tyler Locklear for Pete Alonso? I think some people are trying to say Emerson Hancock and Ty France.
No, I would not. Because again, Pete Alonso is a free agent after this year, and I'm not moving a vital piece of a pitching staff, or a potential
for a half-year rental, or if not less.
Yeah, for a
half and that gets inside, and I think maybe Kirby may have done that to like push him back and like mentally take out his game, because he did hit the home run last time.
I think the that was a brushback pitch, wasn't it? I think like you trade like if you're trading for Pete Alonso, you are basically saying that you're Pete Alonso away from winning a World
Series. And it better be, but but this team, Pete Alonso, will not guarantee a World Series championship.
That's correct. Don't get me wrong. The pitching is good enough to win a World Series. Like, believe it. The Mariners starting
Pitching
rotation
is good. It's just their offense. 2-0.
right, and they're like 2 or 3 pieces on offense away from going to a World Series, and I don't think that Pete Alonso changes the equation.
2 or 3 pieces away is still a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if they got Max Kepler and Pete Alonso, that's a different scenario. But you're also hoping that your pitching staff is going to stay healthy throughout the course of the season. You know what I mean?
And it already is having its issues with our bullpen. And we already saw Saucedo going down in injury. Carlos Correa has 175 career home runs. He has over 1,000 hits.
Would I trade for Juan Soto or no? Because he's a free agent at the end of the year. Yes, I would, because Juan Soto is a generational talent, and I wanted the Mariners to trade for him this offseason. Hell yes, I would.
Which they should have. I wonder how much it would have cost though to get him. It definitely would have cost at least one of those top 10 prospects.
You're probably.
I think Cole Young. I think Cole Young would have been in that conversation.
You're trading 3 of the top 10 prospects, probably a starter out of your rotation, which is probably why they didn't want to do it, because they didn't want to trade Bryce Miller or Brian Wu. And
who cares after this year? Question mark. Serious question. It can't always be about next year. We're a team that.
Yeah, no, I agree, and that's the biggest problem with the Mariners is the fact that it's never always about the year that they're going into. It's always about the long term, the long term big picture. And it's like, well, if your priority is not winning the World Series every year, then you're in the wrong effing business.
Yeah, that's what John Stanton's about.
Yeah. Well, he's
just in there to make money.
No, he's there to sell the ballpark experience. That's his business. He's not in the baseball business. He's in the business of selling you the experience of being at the ballpark. That's his game. His game isn't winning championships. You're right. His game is making money and having high profit margins. And if the team is good, that's just like gravy. That's icing on the cake.
Here's the 0-1 and a foul ball, strike 2. I mean, it's ironic. I mean, because Howard Lincoln said, we're in the baseball business, not a feel-good business, which is ironic because what Stanton is doing is very much a feel-good business.
Right. Well, and then, but that's the funny thing is, like, Mariner fans drink it up like Kool-Aid. It's like, don't you recognize the work of hustlers when you see it? Like, Mariner fans are the ones that are completely getting played. And it's like they're willing to put 25 to 30,000 fans in the seats every single game. So it is what it is.
We're looking at an 0-2. And here is the 0-2 pitch. And here's the other thing. I don't think that boycotting is going to work either, because then that will just encourage the owners to be, okay, we'll just leave and find another place that will like us.
And here's, by the way, Kevin Kirby brings up a very good thing. He says that it's good to be good for multiple years, than amazing for 1 year. And here's the rub about this, right? I would love to be amazing for 1 year, because I know that their drafting and development game is so good that they're not going to suffer a drop off after that one amazing year. You know what I mean? Like, that's the bullshit.
They won't be the Marlins.
Right. That's not the bullshit. That's the bullshit that they throw out there.
Well, this is what Howard Lincoln said. And by the way, it's 3 outs. George Kirby got off easy. Our goal is to not win a World Series. It is to field a competitive team year after year to put itself in position to win a World Series and hope that at some point it does happen.
Yeah, we're just here for your entertainment, but really what we really want is your entertainment dollar. So continue to do that while we continue to make excuses and blow smoke up your ass. That's what that says right there.
Really says a lot.
Yeah. The Padres got Arias, winning the batting title last year, and they paid his entire contract. They gave up a couple guys who had never played. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, that's what teams that are trying to win a World Series do. They fill their holes. They recognize a hole and they fill it. Good for San Diego. They got the best hitter in baseball.
Yeah, they did. Talk about Reggie Miller, J.J. Watt in a commercial. hopefully the Mariners offense can get it going. The next guys that will be on the batting is going to be Cal Raleigh, Mitch Garver, and Ty France. Something to not feel too good about when you're starting.
Yeah. Hey, flick of the switch. Do you recognize holes and then fill it?
Oh, flick of the switch. He's Mr. I hate Joe's commercials. I'm going to Jay Trident, or I'm going to CS Rise or Trident Rising.
That's funny. See, you can always count on one dude to totally perv it out in the chat room. You know
That's what he's doing. It's what he loves to do.
I mean, I'm all for innuendos and puns. You know what I mean? Like I can get down with that, but that's the funny thing. It's like
as Cal Raleigh takes one for a ball, 66 pitches for Paddock. Here's the pitch, and that is going to be a strike. And as much as he is pitching plenty, don't forget that the Mariners or the Twins do have their solid bullpen pitchers available today. So wouldn't want to, just because he's pitching a lot doesn't mean you can depend on the bullpen to beat them. And Cal Raleigh with that insane idea of the check swing, but he gets away with it. Pinch hit grand slams in Mariners history. Ben Broussard, Franklin Gutierrez, Daniel Vogelbach, and now Cal Raleigh.
Ooh, I'm all about Franklin Gutierrez. Although, yeah, Kevin Kirby, how fun would it be if Mark Cuban was our owner? It would be fun.
He would have the money now because he just sold away majority of his ownership away for the Dallas Mavericks.
I would love it if Mark Cuban became the owner of the soon-to-be Seattle Supersonics. That'd be
a lot of fun.
That would be.
I don't know if he would do it though. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike three, another strikeout against Cal Raleigh. And let's take a look and see how many strikeouts that is. Paddock has 8 strikeouts. I should have added him in fantasy baseball.
Yeah. And this is the crazy thing is now you're in 2 of the 3 games you're allowing mediocre starters to dial up big strikeout numbers against you, and this is
And here's a fly ball to right field, and that is gone, a home run. Mitch Garver just blasted that to right
there
field.
You go.
And the Mariners get on the board to make it 3-1. I felt like that just came out of nowhere. We saw that hit, and we weren't really sure if it's gonna be a home run. And then he goes, "Oh, it's a home run."
Yeah, Mitch gets a fastball, middle, and he drives it the opposite way. Was a little late on it, but who cares? It went out. And of course, the short right field porch out there. That's exactly what the Mariners needed. That's exactly what they needed to get this lineup kind of to get their butts in gear.
Saucedo is on a 15.
Yeah, Saucedo
and Ty France with an idiotic check swing, and he gets out.
Yeah, Sauce actually hurt his knee, and so I heard there was swelling in the knee, and so he'll be out for a while.
He will be.
Not that it matters. I mean, I don't know how you feel about Saucedo. I think he's a serviceable left-handed reliever, but
he is.
Spire's much better.
We got Luke Raley up to bat. Let's hope that maybe he can hit a home run, especially with 2 outs. Might as well just go for it. The pitch, and that is he is missing that strike zone quite a bit.
All I'll say about the Ty France check swing grounder is at least he didn't strike out.
At least he made contact. Now here's a line drive, and that will get through for a base hit. And then Luke Raley gets on the board with a hit, and we got the run to make it a 1-run ball game on first base.
Nice base hit there for Raley. Credit Paddock for getting his body in front of that racket by Ty France. He's got a family to think about, man. That showed a lot of guts getting in front of that rocket.
Is that for like Clue Haywood?
Yes.
What's your take on Scott Service? If he missed the playoffs, is he gone? No, he's gonna get another extension.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Or they'll just hire some other sap of a yes man.
Well, both Jerry DePoto and Scott Service do not have contracts for next year. I would probably think that if they miss the playoffs, DePoto probably gets re-upped, but I would probably think that
Service is gone.
you would have to make that change. I mean, this would be the second straight year with massive playoff expectations, and they failed to reach it. So you would have to think that something would have to be shaken up there.
I would hope so. And to think about it, let me take a look. But yeah, Jerry, I would re-up him. But Scott, here's what I think's gonna happen. They're gonna fire him, but Jerry's gonna save him and hire him as like an assistant, like as like a part-time scout or something.
Well, he was his AGM.
He was
when he was with, I think, the Angels. So,
which I do think that Scott Service can do great in a more front office role. I don't think he's an on-field guy.
I would be okay if they got rid of the lot. Don't get me wrong, but they've been here together for a decade now. Next year will be 10 years, and they only have one playoff appearance to show for it.
It's the throw to first, and not in time. Yeah, but except Stanton will just hire a bunch of saps that won't do anything. He's not going to hire a Joe Madden or like Dave Dombrowski.
What's interesting was that the Marlins had Kim Ng running the show, and last year they got to the playoffs under a Kim Ng built team. Who she is also, she's as far as
swing and a miss, strike 3, and down he goes. That's gonna be strikeout number 9.
She checks all the boxes, and I would like to see a new front office with a new GM and a new head coach, just to kind of shake things up, to see exactly what somebody else can do with the existing roster in place that can add to it, and maybe maybe this team will actually be a lot better.
It's just sad that this team could easily compete for the World Series, but the Mariners just continue to just get in their own way, and that's what the Mariners are. They're not cursed. Like a lot of people claim they're cursed. No, the management just gets in their own way, and that's how usually people fail. Is they just get in their own way.
Absolutely. And if you think about this franchise from its inception in 1977 all the way through, it has been a never-ending series of mismanagement. All it has been mismanaged. There's been a lot of gaffes along the way, and that's the thing. It's like there's a reason why the Mariners are the only team to never get to a World Series, is because they're either afraid to take the next step because it would cost money, or they go into a direction where they don't put an emphasis on certain aspects of roster building, and it costs them.
Dustin asks, if you blame Scott for the hitting, does he get credit for pitching? Not 100%, because he mismanages the pitching.
I think that that's a very good question, Dustin. And I will say this: that's a very good, and it really kind of points out some of the hypocrisy with some of this talk. I will say that for me, I always thought that Scott Service was the guy that you hire when you have a young team that is just breaking into the big leagues. He's a very good guy when it comes to that. But when it comes to winning and winning the division and making all the right moves and putting your team in a good position to win, I don't think he's that guy. Terry Francona, go get him.
Terry Francona or Joe Madden.
What's your deal with Joe Madden? You like Joe Madden?
I like him a lot, and I'll explain later in just a moment, as we got George Kirby up on the mound. Now here's the pitch, and here's a ground ball right to Ty France. He goes to first base, and that will be in time.
Because he won in Tampa and Chicago?
Yeah, he took him in Tampa. He ended a curse in Chicago.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you a question. Was that Joe Madden, or was that Theo Epstein, or was it both?
It was probably both. It's a collective effort. But if you put Scott Service on that Cubs team, they don't win.
That's the guy that I want to be president of baseball operations, Theo Epstein.
Theo Epstein?
Yeah, because he broke 2 curses, right? So he broke the curse of the Bambino, and he broke the curse of the
Red Sox and the Cubs. Same guy? What?
Yeah, he's the same guy. That's the guy that I want running the Mariners. He's the guy that I want.
He would certainly end the Mariners' drought.
He's the guy that I want hiring the GM and the manager, because obviously he's broken 2 curses and he knows how to get bad teams to a World Series.
Yeah, but ownership won't spend on a guy like that.
Yeah, but you know what's funny is when you look at the Red Sox when he did it in 04, and when you look at what he did with the Cubs, both of those teams had hardline payroll caps. They didn't just open up the wallet. He had to work with a strict hardline cap, which was, I think in Boston in 04, it was like $135 million. And remember, if you remember, they tried to get A-Rod. They tried to get A-Rod to get money back, and of course they Major League Baseball, the Players Union wouldn't let them. And in Chicago, it was the same thing. It was just understanding the players that you need to keep and being aggressive on the free agent market, just not overlooking that like Jerry DiPoto does.
No. And now they're talking about the Twins game coming up. And now here is going to be the pitch. And that is a strike. And I just missed it that George Kirby just gave up a walk.
Yeah.
George Kirby right now has 3 strikeouts, 3 earned runs. And now we're looking at the 0-1.
And I think Kirby is at 49 pitches.
Yep, 49 pitches. And then we got a fly ball, foul ball. And Rojas is there. He makes the catch. And that's going to be 1-2 down.
Yep. And here's the crazy part of that last pitch. That was a slider that hung out over the plate. Kirby got lucky that ball wasn't crushed, and that crushed again. I bet you Kirilloff wants that ball back because that was right out of the heart of the plate. George got lucky.
Really did.
Here's Willie
Castro.
Pitch
number 50 for Willie Castro. Hit the home run last time. The pitch.
Castro.
And that's going to be a swing and a miss and a strike. Batting 7th in the order. Gave up a home run to a 7th guy.
Speaking of Willie Mays, did you know he turned 92? I think
he did. He's old, but he's still healthy.
Yeah, he's still remembered for one of the greatest catches in World Series history.
The Willie Mays catch against Cleveland.
The 51 series against Vic Wertz.
54. We're looking at the 1-1. And now here's the pitch. And that is a strike. And speak of the New York Giants, I'm trying to remember why the Bobby Thompson home run was such a big deal other than just winning the pennant.
Yeah, you're right. It was the 54 series. You're talking about where Bobby Thompson hit the shot heard round world
in Polo Grounds,
in the Polo Grounds against the Brooklyn Dodgers. It was
1-2 pitch. Hold on, here's the 1-2 pitch. Now here's a line drive, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. This could be trouble. I think they're going to wave him around. They're definitely going to wave him around, and there's going to be no throw to the plate, and that's going to be a 4-1 game for Minnesota. At this point, I would put in the bullpen, or at least warm them up.
Yeah, and again, that was a very good piece of hitting by the Twins, and it is what it is. That's funny. Are they using juice baseballs this series? Yeah, and it was again, it was it looked like it was a changeup that hung a little bit, but again, it was at the bottom of the zone, and he just got his bat head out in front and just drove it into the corner right there. So, yeah.
And that's going to be, we're looking at a 1-0 right now. George Kirby on 54 pitches. Like I said, let's get the bullpen warming up, unfortunately. The pitch. And that is a strike. I actually thought the umpire was going to call that a ball for whatever reason.
And if you notice those pitches, the pitches that have been hit were not fastballs. They weren't against his fastball.
They were against his breaking stuff.
Yeah. I'm with you, Kevin Kirby.
Here's the pitch. And it's a strike. That's why I don't feel bad for these pitchers not getting any offense. Why do they mess it up?
Yeah, I think you kind of have to feel for him a little bit. I mean, we saw Felix Hernandez in his entire career going out there with absolutely no run support. If he got one, If he got one run,
Popped
he was
up.
lucky.
Yeah, it's gonna be way out of play. No, you feel Felix is the most tragic, and I remember towards the very end of his career, Mariner fans actually turned their backs on Felix. They were just talking so much crap about him at the very end of his career.
Right. Which
And
was
to be fair, they were a bunch of Twitter losers, but they were loud enough to make it noticeable.
No, I think when you're not getting any run support, your pitcher is put in a position where he has to be perfect because he has to keep the team in the game. And by the way, it's only 4-1 right now, so the Mariners are still very much in this game. But that being said, that's the fine line of a starting pitcher where you feel like you have to go out there and throw darts every single time, or you're going to end up the losing pitcher. And I would probably think that was the case after the first inning when George saw his offense. He probably felt like it was going to be one of those nights.
Foul ball. Remember, if Montero didn't eke one over the fence, he would have been robbed of a perfect game. Wait, I'm trying to remember what that was.
I would dare say that this is the worst offense the M's had in my life. Hey, Dustin, were you around for the 2010 season?
2010, 2011, 2012, and 13s were the worst.
Yeah, those were some of the worst offenses in team history. And 2010 was one of the worst offenses in Major League history.
Baseball history.
Right, in the modern era. So.
1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that will retire the side. But George Kirby gives up another run, and hopefully the Mariners can respond with Josh Rojas, Julio Rodriguez, and Jorge Polanco. But yeah, that 2010 offense, it was so bad. Like, we remember that Ken Griffey Jr., 2010 Ken Griffey Jr. was actually one of the worst hitters in Major League Baseball history, bar none. And let's not forget, he was fat.
Well, and also it was amazing that he even decided to come back because, at the end of the 29 season, whatever he had left, he got it out of the system in 2009. And even then he was a shot fighter. And the idea that he was going to come back to DH was just absurd. I thought he should have retired after the storybook ending of the 2009 season. And then when you looked at what they did in 2010, Casey Kochman, Sean Figgins, Adam Kennedy, Jack Wilson.
Adam Kennedy was a 2011, but yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Eric Burns.
Yeah, Eric Burns.
And Griffey came back because he thought there was at least another playoff potential for him. That's why he came back. If 2009 didn't even break 80 wins, he would have not came back.
Right, you're right. Russell Branyan, Michael Saunders.
They let him go and then brought him back when it was too late.
Dude, I remember. That's right. Jose Lopez was playing third base that year. Okay. Yep.
I did not agree with that. I was like, no, keep Spiggins at third base.
That's right. Matt Tuiasosopo, Ryan Langerhans, Justin Smoak, Josh Bard, Mike
I like
Sweeney.
Smoke. I thought Smoke was going to do it. Just like when I thought Carp was going to do it.
I would have. If it were me and I made that deal with Texas, knowing that you're going to get a guy like Justin Smoke back, I would have kept him in Tacoma for the rest of the year. I would have kept him down in the minors to give him some more seasoning because the reason, the Texas Rangers brought him up that year.
And it gets through right there for a base hit. And Josh Rojas with his second hit, he has been the most effective player on the Mariners today.
Yeah. They brought Smoke up knowing that he wasn't ready, just to showcase him in the Mariners bit. And the thing with Smoke is he needed more time in the in the minor league system before he was called up. But again, 2010 was a bad year, and so they needed offense.
Nah, I mean, especially when a lost season, well, they needed to put some kind of butts in the seats. That's what it was all about. It was winning. Sure. Here's the pitch. Now here's a fly ball popped up.
That was definitely a part of the equation. But that being said, in a lost season, you don't want to burn prospects who aren't ready.
Do you think they burned up Dustin Ackley too early, even though he had a great start?
Yeah, they burned him up.
They burned him just like Nick Franklin, Brad Miller.
Yep. Mike Zunino. The list goes on.
Michael Saunders is like the only one they got right.
Kyle Seager got right too.
They got it right with him somehow.
Yeah, they sent him back down, and when he came back up, he was phenomenal. But Jared Kelnick,
I mean, I thought he was mismanaged.
100%. I agree with you. Mike Karp was so bad. Yes, he was.
Not in 2011. 2011, he was great.
Do you think Felix is a Hall of Famer? I do believe Felix.
And here's a bunting effort, and that was a beautiful bunt. The throw to first, not in time, and we got runners on first and second. Yes, the bunt.
Oh, nice bunt. Oh, and the best part about that bunt was it died right there in the infield.
The exit velo was so 14.9 miles an hour. Great, efficient bunting.
Right, and that's the thing is like when you're not, when your bat isn't going, there's always the option of button, and sure enough, there it was. That was a kind of a big gamble by Polanco, and
Mitch Haniger's up to the plate, and Mitch Haniger, please do not blow it like you already blew it last time. It looks like we got the pitching coach coming up. He's basically gonna say, "Hey, just calm down. It's the Mariners. They ain't gonna score shit. Just relax."
By the way, what does that say? What does that say that your number 3 hitter is laying down bunts?
Not good.
Says to me that he shouldn't be hitting number 3rd.
No, he should not. At least make it number 2.
Yeah.
Make Julio number 3.
Yeah.
And the numbers back it up.
Polanco 2, Julio 3.
But they won't do that.
And then Raleigh hitting cleanup, and then Haniger batting 5th.
I once thought that when I first heard of Cal Raleigh, I first thought his name was Cal Relay. And I actually was there when he hit his first home run, but I was totally nagging on the Mariners to call up Cal Raleigh because he was on the minors for quite a bit some time.
Yeah.
But because he's a catcher, like I think you said before, catchers usually are in the system for quite some time.
Yeah, usually it's an issue of not necessarily offense, but it's also an issue of defense. You want to make sure that his game is very well rounded before you bring him up. And credit to the Mariners, they did a good job with Cal.
They actually did not rush the guy, and I was the one saying, "Come on, just give him a chance." But hey, it worked out.
Just give him a chance. Give Relay a chance.
Relay, that's me.
Relay.
And here's the 1-0 curveball, and that's low for a ball. I remember in 2019 when the season was so lost, I was like, we should let Jared Kelnick and Julio Rodriguez just sit on the Mariners bench just for one game, or just let them play one game because the season was lost. And everyone's like, no. My best friend was like, no. We'll get the 2-0.
Well,
and here's a fly ball to out.
That's
Josh
what the
Rojas
Yankees
actually thought of running it.
That's what the Yankees kind of did with Derek Jeter in the '95 season when they were in the playoffs. They brought Jeter up just to sit on the bench in the '95 divisional series, just to give him a taste of what big league, feel of what big league baseball is all about.
95 was the preparations for him.
And by the way, you got to think that the ball that Mitch Haniger just flew out to center field, he wants that back because that was a very good pitch for him to hit.
And here's Cal Raleigh, and another check swing, but it misses for a ball. Giants traded for Robbie Ray. I'm trying to figure that out too.
Well, because
they did take on more money.
Well, he's a Cy Young Award winner, and then when you look at when he's coming back in the second half of the year, you're going to be pairing him up with
Blake Snell.
And now all of a sudden you have 2 Cy Young Award winners in your rotation. That's why they did it.
They were willing to be patient.
They were willing to be. Well, they were also willing to eat the money, which is to me a Mariner win. It doesn't matter what Haniger does. That was a win
To get out of that contract.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
And I've had some people say that maybe Robbie Ray could have been a high-risk signing, and it turned out it was. Although he was decent in 22, it wasn't the Robbie Ray we were looking for.
Right. I actually, I go the other way. I was not impressed with Robbie Ray when he was healthy in 2022. he was like, I'll say this, he was like a better version of Eric Bedard. And if you remember Bedard, he was the type of guy that burned so many pitches within the first 5 innings that he never gave you 7. You know what I mean? And every Robbie Ray start, you knew the bullpen was coming
2-0.
in at least
3-0. No, it's a strike. 2-1. Eric Bedard, his only good season with the Mariners was 2011, and that's when they traded him. 2011 was the season where he finally got it right.
I thought Bedard was going to be solid in Seattle.
2-1, and that is a 3-1 count.
Because when Bedard is on, he was one of the best pitchers in the league, but that was the problem.
Without a hindsight, how did you feel about the 2008 season when it started? Like, did you feel confident that they were going to make a run? Because that was the hype.
It's a good question.
3-1. And Cal Raleigh had an opportunity. I didn't think they were going to do it. I thought 2007 was fluky.
Well, see, I thought they were going to be competitive. I didn't think they were going to win the division, but I thought at the very least that they would be competitive enough to at least challenge for a wild card, just because when you look at where they were in 2005 and then they incrementally got better in 06 and 07, and it looked like they were progressing in the right direction.
Now here's a ground ball, and that's going to be fielded. The throw to first, and it's in time. Okay, I got a vent. I need a vent right now, and here it is. I have this. I got to do this.
That's good.
I got to do that because how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, they had Beltre, they had Ibanez, they had Ichiro, and they had Kenji Jojima, who actually, and Jojima had a pretty good 07 season. So I was thinking that, yeah, they had the pieces and the tools to at least be competitive, and that just it bottomed out. I remember I think they started the season with Brad Wilkerson.
Because we lost Jose Guillen, because Jose Guillen lost his when Adam Jones was kind of taking away his bats.
They had a young Felix. Jared was at least, Jared Washburn, I thought could at least be serviceable, but the Carlos Silva, terrible. But and I think they had R.J. Dickey that year.
R.A. Dickey, the knuckleballer.
R.A. Dickey. Sorry about that. Yeah, that was before he really became R.A. Dickey. Brandon Morrow, Mark Lowe, Brian Rowland Smith, J.J. Putz. So I mean, they had some pieces that year, but it just once it didn't get off to a good start, and you just knew that they weren't going to right the ship. It got away from them, but. I expected them to be competitive. I didn't think they were going to win the division that year, but because
Abraham Toro is off to a fantastic start. I'm looking at his stats because they're showing it right now. 287, 3 home runs, 14 RBIs. And I think at the time, I didn't like Toro that much, but I liked him in clutch situations. He was actually a clutch hitter. So I wasn't exactly 100% keen with that trade.
I liked Abraham Toro because I like the ability of him playing multiple positions. Plus, he's a switch hitter. You know what I mean? You can use him at any point coming off the bench, and I liked him.
That's a strike. I think it's safe to say that Mariners gave up on him too early.
For sure, but it was
I wanted them to see if he could make up for that Kendall Graveman trade.
They needed to get rid of Jesse Winker. Any way, any means possible, and there wasn't at that time, there wasn't a lot of takers for him. So
was it because he's crazy, he gets into fights, bad defense? He had an okay bat at least. Winker just didn't do the things that he was brought over to Seattle to do. Plus I heard that he wasn't the greatest teammate. No, he wasn't. And yet someone rewarded him with a box with pizza, which I thought was silly. And that kind of manifested itself in the playoff because he was a healthy scratch in the playoffs that year. And now here's a fly ball, and Julio's there. So you think they just benched him on purpose?
Yeah, no, he was healthy. He just wasn't on the playoff roster, so that kind of let you know exactly what they thought of him, that he wasn't going to be able to contribute. So, and that's the thing, is I liked that they recognized it. The Mariners recognized it and then rectified the situation, that off season.
The pitch, and that is in their first strike.
What they didn't do was upgrade the team. That's what they
2023 was their best season to win the World Series. 0-1.
Probably.
Out of all seasons, I think, other than 2000, I think 2023 was a huge lost opportunity. Going up against the Diamondbacks, that would have been pretty easy. Everyone in the top seeds just flamed out. I think a more managed Mariners team could have beaten out Houston and Texas easily.
Did you know that if they would have had 2022 Ty France last year, they probably make the playoffs? But that being said, though, you're still going to have to run through either Houston or Texas in the playoffs, and I don't.
Which I think they would have been beatable.
They would have been beatable.
Here's a line drive, and that's going to be caught by Luke Raley.
I don't think they do it.
You don't think you don't think they get their revenge?
I don't. I think that I actually think 2022 was their best year to get to a World Series in the American League. Now, I don't think they win the World Series, but if they get past Houston,
they would have to play the Yankees. And do you think they would have beaten the pitchers list Yankees? Because you would think that the Mariners pitching would have shut down the Yankees offense.
That's exactly right. I think the Mariners pitching in 2022 was so good that they would have. I think they would have beaten the Yankees.
It would have been fun to see. Like the ALCS run would have been possible because it would have been a cool story to play against the Yankees. Like get the revenge from 2001, the pitch to Correa, and that is going to be popped up, and that's going to be playable. A 1-2-3 inning for George Kirby. Aside from the home runs given up and that other bad inning, it's not like Kirby's been completely a disaster.
No, I mean he's done what he's supposed to do, which is keep him in the ball game. This thing is they're only 3 runs down. This thing is not, it's not over. By the way, I don't think these players know about the Yankee rivalry with the Mariners back from the 90s and early 2000s. Just considering they were babies at that point.
Some were not even born.
Some weren't even born. So I don't think that plays into it. But it would have been great for Mariner fans to get that shot at the Yankees in an ALCS. That would have been phenomenal.
Would have meant a lot to the fans
to
get the revenge on the Yankees, because they got revenge on the Mariners twice. And 2001, they beat up the Mariners like it was kicking a dead horse.
And by the way, if they didn't bring in Robbie Ray in Game 1, if they would have held on to beat the Astros in Game 1, they win that series.
They win the series because of momentum. Especially when you beat up on Justin Verlander. That was a confidence breaker. But then you saw Scott Service prematurely pulling Gilbert. Now, yes, he did struggle just a little bit, but he came together and he was unstoppable. But then Service like, nope, 85's too much for you. Get out.
Right. I mean that Game 1 loss took all the wind out of their sails.
It did.
And
in Game 3 they were just done.
Yeah, you go 18 innings without scoring a run. I mean, that says everything. But they win Game 1, they win that series, because it sets them up perfectly for the remaining 2 or 3 more games in that series. But yeah, I think that was their best year. 2022 was their best year to get to a World Series.
Oh, talking about all sports. I'm not talking about serious injuries like torn ligaments or broken bones, but do you hate how these athletes are babied by their teams? Absolutely. Like we've been talking about it, like the whole pitching management, we 100% understand because they pitch differently than they did in the 90s. And now here's the pitch. And Garver, a base hit. He's actually been contributing this game, and Heel gets on board with a single. Yes. And the whole babying thing, like, yes, pitching management's very important for the starters, but Service just takes it way too far.
Well,
the point
he
kills the bullpen, so the bullpen's not being babied at all.
Yeah, we're in an era of load management, especially when it comes to starting pitchers, and they're so afraid of an arm injury. And it's like, well, wait a second. It's your development that puts pitchers in the harm way, where all you're doing is relying on velocity and spin rates when it comes to your pitchers. I mean, so even when it comes to minor injuries, they'll shut them down for 10 days just because they'll just be overly cautious. The way that the Mariners specifically baby their starters is ridiculous.
And it's not just Mariners that are babying. Look at the Clippers; they baby the hell out of Kawhi Leonard, and he still gets injured. Like
the NBA is worse. The NBA
they baby their starters even harder.
Yeah, it's a joke.
You got the pitch.
That's one of the reasons why the NBA. That's one of the many reasons why the NBA is unwatchable.
It's so bad that you almost rather watch the WNBA. At least they have heart there. Now, is the product any better? Of course not, but at least the effort is there.
Yeah, for sure.
The 1-2 foul.
I would rather watch soccer than the NBA, and I do watch soccer, so
I almost rather watch the WNBA than the NBA, and it's not exactly a popular opinion. Now, I think what's clouding the WNBA is their own agenda. I think they just continue to shoot themselves in the foot every chance they do. So if they just did the bare minimum, just kept their mouth zippy on politics, they'd be doing a little bit better. Yeah. Not saying that they'd be making money, as Ty France just struck out.
Well, but also they were also trying to get the LGBTQ plus crowd to come to their games and be on their sides. It was a virtue signaling effort that didn't really.
And unfortunately, that's what turned. And don't get me wrong, YouTube. If WNBA did it for the other side, the result would have not been any different. It would have been the same exact thing. So that's why, in general, you just don't play politics in general.
Yeah, but I mean, the WNBA, the reason why ladies college hoops is so much more
watchable.
Well, but it's also because of the tournament. The NCAA tournament where you're playing one game crapshoots. You see stars like Caitlin Clark, and you see the chick from LSU. Angel, whatever her name is.
I think her and Caitlin Clark are going to have a huge thing against each other.
Yeah, that's only going to that could be Magic versus Larry for the WNBA. What Magic and Larry did in the late 70s, early 80s for the NBA, that could change the dynamic for the WNBA, by the way. But I just think that the reason why it's not working is because, well, it's just overall a bad product.
Regarding Paul Sewald, I still think he should have been trusted to get out of it. I still think Scott Service still played panic on that one. Not Robbie Ray's fault. I mean, I don't blame Robbie Ray in the situation because he just wasn't the right guy to do it with. And yeah, he scored a scoreless inning when the game was over.
All I know is that Robbie Ray was the guy that threw the pitch that got crushed
by Yordan Alvarez.
Yeah. Scott Service loves to play the matchups lefty, and you're throwing in a guy that throws a lot of fastballs and tries to use
Yordan just crushes it.
Yeah,
I think they're pulling out their pitcher, which they did because they just pulled them out because that's why they're on commercial break.
Yeah, I remember when Brett Favre used to play through injuries as well too. You know who also played through a lot of injuries? Who was actually an underrated Warrior? Number 8 for the Seattle Seahawks, Matt Hasselbeck.
Oh yeah, his body became.
That dude played through injuries.
That guy should have gotten. He might as well would have had screws in his legs because man, that guy played through a lot of pain because it really showed after 2006. He played with no offensive line, and then that.
I remember a game in 2006. It was in San Francisco. And he was the Seahawks were inside the 10, and he tried to scramble for a touchdown, and then he gets hit on his back. He gets hit on his backside on the side, and he separated a rib, and he separates a rib, and he finishes the game, and he played the next week.
I think that was the Storm game. And by the way, we got Luis Urias up to the plate. I'm very confused why they're doing this. They're replacing Luke Raley. I'm still very iffy about the decision on this one.
there's a lefty on the hill. That's why they're doing it. So he's playing matchups, which means Urias will probably take over at third, and then Rojas will probably move to left field.
And then who's going to play first? Oh, yeah, right, yeah. Because Rojas can play left field.
Yeah, that's probably why.
And now we're looking at the 1-2.
And by the way,
here is the pitch. Here's a ground ball. It's probably going to be a double play ball. Throw to second, the throw to first. And it gets by, and fielder's choice at best. But, lost opportunities.
That's going to be E4 on the relay. So, yeah, E4 fielder's choice, but at least it wasn't a double play. But, yeah, this is Scott Service at his best. And, oh, by the way, Luke Raley actually does have good career numbers versus lefties.
See, that's the thing. Service overdoes his analytics. Like, he takes it way too far. Like, I think even Billy Bean would be like, dude, you're not even doing it right. Read the book again.
Well, the thing about it is, it's that, yeah, that was a bad throw. The thing about it is he's hard line. He is a hard line matchups guy. So lefty, if a lefty comes in, he's always going to pull the bat and bring out a right-handed bat. Same thing on the mound.
Dylan Moore, and here's a ground ball foul.
Yeah, same thing on the mound. He's going to play the matchups regardless. That is going to happen, even if it puts him in a bad situation.
Deep hole.
Let's go, Demo.
Do something, Demo, because this game it's not like the game's out of reach. It's just the players just need to believe in themselves, not try to chase so much like Ty France does. Yeah. If you could just bring your chase rate down, we can get back into this game. The 0-1 check swing. Did he go? I think it says he did go. No, he did not go. It's gonna be a 1-1.
This is not controlling the zone. This is what I like to call a flail fest.
And now we're looking at the 1-1, the pitch, and he check swings because it was a breaking stuff, I guess. Now we're looking at a 1-2. Dylan Moore is 2 for 8 in the series. Nearly hit a home run the night before.
So this is what, Caleb Thielbar on the hill?
The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that's going to retire the side. We go to
Whimper.
Bottom of the 6th.
Yep. Fastball up. Yep. Swing right through it. Yeah,
not good.
What this is right now is the Mariners not showing a heartbeat. This is tough to watch, man. It's tough to watch.
And this game is still very winnable. They're just not playing.
This is what bugs me, because when you look at this team, especially this offense, and when you look at it, you can see there's talent. And for whatever reason, it does not consistently translate day to day. And it almost seems like, when they get somebody on base, they're sitting back and waiting for the home run to bail them out, just like it did last night.
They're just not patient. That's the problem. But before we go further and rant about the Mariners, my attendance percentage is at 55%. This is actually my 21st game of the season, already halfway towards my last year. I mean, I'll probably obviously make the 40 games, but not sure if I'll get to 80 just given the don't quit your day job situation. So it is what it is.
I think you should shoot for 100.
That's what I have been as well.
Yeah. The ideal is to do 162 of 162.
Like, I mean, if I'm doing 162 games, this is like my at this point this would be my part-time job, if not full-time, if I was doing 162 games a year for the Mariners.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
That's what Northwest Sports Fanatics does. He does this as a full-time job.
Well, that's what you shoot for. That's what that's what the goal of the YouTube channel is for. So it can be your new day job.
That's what we want. That's what we want, because I can legitimately say I'm the legitimate alternative voice of the Seattle Mariners.
So that means all those that are in the chat room, make sure that you tell a friend, and make sure that friend hits the subscribe button
and the donate button. And it looks like we got Sneed. Kirby Sneed is making his debut for the Mariners. The 1,000th player in Mariners history get the call up.
Ooh, he's number 1,000. Yeah, I think Dustin in the chat room makes a little bit of a point about we couldn't hit a beach ball with a tennis racket.
We couldn't.
Very good point. I'm not going to go so far as to say the off-season acquisitions aren't working out. We're only 1 month in. Now come check back with me at the end of June, and maybe I'll agree.
It's nice that we do have a lefty in. I mean, Taylor Saucedo out, which means Kirby Sneed is in. Now let's take a look at Kirby Sneed's numbers. I mean, this is his first game. He is 29 years old, so he's been in the game for I would think he's been quite in the game for a bit. Here is the pitch, and that is a foul ball. Yep. He was with the Blue Jays and Oakland for the last 2 seasons.
Yep. And in 2021, he was in Toronto. And I think he only got into 7 games in Toronto. He only pitched 7 2/3 in Toronto. And then
swing and a miss, strike 3. Down he goes, and Kirby Sneed with a strikeout.
With Oakland, had ERAs over 4.5. 1 year was a 5.84. So he kind of got hit a little. So. Yeah, the walks are kind of a big thing for Sneed. He has a tendency to walk some guys.
Now we're looking at the pitch, and that is up high for a ball. This is Max Kepler, the cleanup hitter.
Yeah, that's probably why Sneed is in right now for this guy right here.
And now here's the pitch. Now here's a ground ball right to Ty France, and he's out. They could sign Cy Young winner Bauer. His accuser got arrested for fraud. Yes, it is 100% correct that woman was a fraud.
Yeah. Listen, this is the era that we're living in, where, where if there's smoke, there's fire, and of course everything came out in court that she was a gold digger, unfortunately. And his name got tarnished, and because of that, and because of smoke, now all of a sudden he's untouchable. There's probably 7 different teams in the major leagues right now that could use Trevor Bauer,
and Mariners are actually one of them.
Yeah, and by the way, he's from here. He still lives here. Still works out at Driveline every off season.
Wait,
as well,
Trevor Bauer is in Seattle?
Yeah, he lives here.
What?
Trevor Bauer lives in Seattle during the off season. You didn't know that?
No, I gotta check this.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
I don't even see it.
Yeah. No, I mean, originally he's from Southern California, because I think he
that.
Yeah, he came from Santa Clarita, and he went to UCLA. But yeah, he makes his off season home here in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah. Wow, that just came out too. But the thing is, if you say sign Trevor Bauer, you're still gonna be like, "How dare you say that? He's actually..." Well, yeah. Did you read the article that she's actually arrested for fraud for lying about it?
Well, yeah, and you also have to understand that Seattle's a very progressive area, and so you're going to have a lot of people that would be upset for the Mariners for signing him. But that being said, winning cures everything, doesn't it? Last time I checked,
it won't be enough. Nah.
So if Trevor Bauer goes out there and again, he's still phenomenal. He goes out there and does his job and does it at a high level. I think that makes up for the fact that there's a lot of people that still believe that he's guilty of something that he's not guilty of.
And plus, he's hanging out with a cool YouTuber, Eric Sims, that big Korean guy. He hangs out with them on YouTube channels, so he's a cool guy. He's a very open guy.
I saw the interview that Trevor Bauer gave, and I think it might have been to Patrick Bet-David, where he.
I love Patrick Bet-David. He's a cool guy.
I do too. And he, Pat asked him everything, and he was not afraid to answer. So
I think I could do a Pat David impression possibly. So here's what really went down in the story of Trevor Bauer. It was just absolutely misunderstood. It was just no evidence. That's the story of Trevor Bauer.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, again, why would they be upset, Dustin? Again, because there's a lot of people that think that Trevor Bauer is a predator. That's the reason.
That's what they're saying, even though it was all consensual. And here's the pitch.
Yeah, 100%.
And there was a video evidence of the girl like Instagramming herself going, "Hey, I'm with Trevor Bauer in the bed."
Yeah, no, there was text messaging where she admits that she was doing all of this for money.
Yeah, just wanted the guy's money. And the check swing,
get paid.
And down goes Josh Rojas.
Lefty on lefty, yeah.
That'll do it. Even though I still think that Josh Rojas should be an everyday guy, even with maybe his lefty struggles. But I looked at his numbers. His numbers against lefties is still not that bad.
Not that bad, yeah. I do too.
And man, Rojas, he looked at the replay. He was visibly frustrated.
Yeah, now here's a slider. Yeah, a slider in the dirt right there.
And now here is Julio Rodriguez up to the plate. The pitch. Swing and a miss.
Swing and a miss, yeah. And this is a situation.
But he's 2 for 3, so you can't really blame anything on Julio Rodriguez today. You just can't. The ones you can blame are like Cal Raleigh and Ty France are the ones that should be blamed.
Well, it's also, it's a
the ground ball, and that gets through for a base hit. That is the 3rd hit for Julio Rodriguez today.
Yeah, and there you go. So I mean, he comes back. It's a fastball in, and of course, this was the pitch that has been plaguing him all season. In on the hands, trying to cheat a little bit to get the barrel out. This time it pays off as he goes right up the middle.
For Trevor Bauer, I think the role for him would be start him out in the bullpen because he's been out of the game for so long. So he could be at least a serviceable like a long relief pitcher, and then work him up into the starting rotation. But with Brian Wu, now that's if he's good. Now, if he's bad, Mariners should explore that, but they're afraid of doing that because of, quote, backlash and feelings. And now you were saying?
I was going to say that the play the Mariners, this is what the Mariners probably would do. If they would sign him, they would stick him down in Tacoma for a month. You know what I mean?
Which is fair.
This is what they would do. They would stick him down in Tacoma for a month, just to kind of see how it goes. This is the same thing they're doing right now with Dallas Keuchel. They have him down there. They'll see how it goes for a few starts, and then if he's if it's clear that he's too good for AAA, they'd bring him up. But I think you're right, though. That would be what happens if everything is breaking right and starting pitching is good. Would he be, that serviceable piece coming out of the bullpen? Because you can use him in short relief and long relief as well, too. And I think his stuff translates. But that being said, it's also a very good question. What happens if there's a starter that goes down with an injury or a starter that's just not working out? Having a guy like Bauer as an ace in the hole is a lot better than Emerson Hancock.
Yeah, for sure. And don't get me wrong, we all loved his efforts. It's just that it just wasn't enough, unfortunately, for him to be able to consistently perform at a major league level at this time.
Right.
And it's really sad because he really did have a huge amount of upside, but then I think the injuries was what killed his velocity.
Are you talking about Emerson?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, the shoulder injury. But that, but what's interesting, though, is in all of his starts, especially the first inning, you saw his fastball touching 96. It was as it progressively went through the game, hit that velocity would kind of tick down a little bit. And then by the 6th inning, he's hovering around 94. So, but that being said, he's not the type of guy that's going to burn you with a fastball. It's all about his secondary pitches, and that's where the command comes in. Yesterday, we saw him not really commanding the zone all that well.
No. Now we got Jorge Polanco up the plate. He is going to bat lefty because they're doing the matchup game, but
there's Griffin. Yeah, here's Griffin Jacks, who
was
not
one
available
of the better
last
pitchers in the bullpen. Yeah. So I don't think the Mariners are going to get much out of him.
A lot's going to have to change here in the next couple innings if they want to get back into this game. They're going to have to be aggressive, but they're also going to have to be patient and not chase pitches out of the zone.
And now we are looking at the pitch and a swing and a miss, strike 2.
Yeah. TK. Yeah. It makes me wonder if Trevor Bauer is blackballed completely.
He was blackballed. He was blackballed even before the scandal.
Yeah, Major League Baseball has a thing of blackballing guys.
Now here's a fly ball. That's not going to do much. And that's out. That's going to be out number 2 for Julio Rodriguez, or for the Mariners itself. And Julio has to stay. And now we got Mitch Haniger, who's 0 for 3.
He's got this weird reputation of being a bad teammate, yet all the teammates that have came out publicly have said that, those are false. Like, he was a great teammate. You know what I mean? So maybe there was just guys that he rubbed the wrong way or something like that. I don't know.
At the worst possible time.
Yeah. Yeah.
If he's in LA Dodgers, so a more progressive area, that might play a role with it. I think that's going to be a swing and a miss.
He would be perfect in a town like Detroit. A guy, a town that's not going to
Texas.
Yeah, Texas too.
He can do great in Texas,
or even in Florida.
0-1, and that's going to be a strike.
Being out here in Detroit, they wouldn't kick up dust.
Mitch Haniger is at 210 with 5 home runs and 20 RBIs.
Sitting in an 0-2 hole.
He really is. The 0-2. Check swing, did he go? He did not, but it still drives me nuts that the Mariners are doing this whole check swing thing. They check swing way too much.
Yeah, but at least he didn't go around. That was a pitch in the dirt that was trying to induce a swing and a miss right there. So I mean, it shows a modicum of patience on Haniger's part right there, and he didn't go.
We're looking at a 2-2 count for Mitch Haniger. And now here is going to be the pitch, the 2-2. And that is inside for a ball, 3-2. With Julio on base, Mariners have got to come up with something. And again, it's only a 3-run deficit. I know it seems insurmountable for the Mariners because of how they play, but in actuality, it's not. The Mariners are still in this game.
Very much so. And
3-2.
they also
ball 4. See, just like that, you have the tying run at the plate.
There you go. And that's the thing. It's like the Mariners do know how to come back. They've shown it a lot this year. Their ability to come back when it seemed like they were out of it with one swing of the bat. They're capable of doing it, and they got the right guy up right now to do it. So we'll see.
Cal Raleigh up to the plate, and he is batting lefty, so this is a favorable matchup for him. No excuses on this. The pitch. And now here's a fly ball to deep right field. Does that have enough carry? And that is going to be off the wall. That's got to score at least 1 run. Yeah. Julio is probably going to score. And actually 2 runs are in. So that is now a 1-run ball game by Cal Raleigh.
There it is. Fastball out. He gets his bat head out in front and drives it to the deepest part of the park. And of course, with Julio's speed, that's going to score 2. So there you go. And as we were talking, the Mariners are capable of doing it. And there he goes, Cal Raleigh with 1 swing of the bat, plates 2.
Any other stadium, that's a home run.
Well, in this stadium, if it was pulled, that pitch was out. But that's the thing. It's he took exactly what Jax was willing to give him, which is a fastball up and out. Good swing, and now all of a sudden the Mariners are just 1 down.
They are just 1 down. They do have a chance. They're very much in this game.
And now it's time for Mitch Garver, who, by the way, has quietly had a very
pretty
decent
good game.
A base hit, scores Raleigh. So
we need another Cal Raleigh home. Who do you all think's going to win tomorrow? I don't know. Now here's the pitch. Foul ball.
A base hit to center field. Plates Raleigh, and depending on where he hits down the line. Also depends on that as well too, but a nice solid swing here ties this ball game.
The pitch, swing and a miss. Ugh.
Swing and a miss.
Just slap it, and then you're gonna get Cal Raleigh in because Cal Raleigh is a hustler. Batting 150 with runners in scoring position, by the way. Eesh.
Right.
And now here's the pitch, and now here's a fly ball to nothing. can't help it.
Yep. Can of corn.
Well,
Center field.
it's that
Well,
time. 7th inning stretch, shall we? Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd.
Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, so let's
root for the Mariners. If they don't win, it's a shame. It would be a shame because they're only down by 1 run.
For it's uno, dos, three strikes, you're out at the old ball
game. And the last time we sang Take Me Out to the Ball Game, that's when I freaked out when George Kirby got taken out. Lowe. Oh no, we gotta win this game. Yeah. I think I told you that when I was in 4th grade. That's when the Mariners, that was the 2002 Mariners season, and the Mariners name was so big that when we were doing a musical, our goodbye song was Louie Louie, and I literally think it was just because of the Mariners. That's how big the Mariners were, that we had Louie Louie being played at an elementary school. But the worst thing I did, I made myself look like a total ass. Like, I was always looking grumpy, didn't want to be there. Oh. My dad. Oh, what did he do?
Well,
he let me know.
To answer 555 World Q's question, who do I think is going to win tomorrow? Well, we have Logan Gilbert going tomorrow, so that's 50% of the equation. The other 50 is going to be the offense, and the Twins are throwing Pablo Lopez tomorrow, who throws his fastball. I believe he throws it 44% of the time. So you know that you're going to see a lot of them. He does feature a sweeper, so the question is going to be, can the Mariners get on the board early? Because if they do, and give Logan a 2-run lead early, I probably would think that the Mariners win.
Who knows?
But
tonight, you can't lose the series. All I can say is that you cannot afford to lose a series. Yeah. That'd just be embarrassing.
Well, but the Twins are a good team. Tonight, if they can figure out a way to finagle themselves back into this ball game, tie it up within the next inning, and push it to the 9th.
By the way, nerd is up to the pitching. Yeah. Trent Thornton. I'm gonna say I'm opposed to it because this is not the situation you would use a Trent Thornton. You would use him if you're up 4+ runs, but they chose otherwise.
Well, they're also down a run. So last night they used Stanek. Last night they used Andreas Ayala. So this is I guess the time to use Trent down 1. The only question is if what happens if Trent gets into trouble? Are you going to have some backup up there, backing him up, or are you going to let him roll?
The 1-2, and that is low for a ball. I'm telling you, this is where I get a little bit nervous.
You're a little bit nervous.
Alex Kirilloff. Interesting name. And now we're looking at the 2-2 and the pitch, and that's fouled. He's 0 for 8 in this series, by the way. Yeesh.
I like Kirilloff.
Yep. Oh, you got to go to the bathroom, make it fast, or make it nice and sweet. And now here's going to be a 2-2, and that is fouled. Oh, boy. Also, I hate to do this. I don't mean to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. For any of you fans that are here, donate to this channel through the YouTube Super Chat. And now we're looking at the 2-2. And that is low. That's going to be a 3-2 count. I really don't like this. I don't like this at all. And we're looking at a 3-2. And now here is the 3-2 pitch. And now here's a fly ball to left field, and Rojas is there, and he makes the catch. And that's going to be one down. And now up to the plate is going to be a guy. His name is number 50. Can't really see the name from the back of his jersey. That's Will Castro. And he tried the bunt, and that's going to be a strike. And let me just remind you, Mariners are only down 1 run. So the opportunity is there to snag a victory. Mariners with a slight shift. Dylan Moore is at the very tip at the second base. And a swing and a miss, strike 2. And by the way, Will Castro has hit a solo home run and an RBI triple. And now we're looking at an 0-2 count. Castro's batting .275 with 3 home runs and 14 RBIs. The opportunity is there to still win this game. And now we are looking at the 0-2 pitch on the way, and that is low for a ball. We got some activity down in the bullpen right now. Steve, thank God you missed nothing.
By the way, did you say Dylan Moore was on the tip?
Yes.
Okay.
Now
Just
here's
checking.
the 1-2. Yeah, at second base.
I was going to say, because he doesn't strike me as that type of guy.
But
whatever floats your boat.
Whatever floats anyone's boat.
Whatever melts your butter.
And now we're looking at the 1-2. And here's the pitch. Check swing. No, that was strike 3, swing and a miss. Throw to first in time. And we've got 2 down. And by the way, I would have pitched. What's that guy's name? Kirby Snead, 1 more inning because he had a hot hand.
Nah.
Not
No,
even with 8 pitches in.
No, you're in a situation where you're making your Mariners debut. You don't want to be in a situation where you're trying to keep this game within 1 run, and the one thing you don't want to do is overextend a guy who has been known to get shelled. So you take the 1 inning that he gave you, and you build off of it.
Okay.
And the thing about Trent is that Trent does have his moments, but he's also not a bad pitcher as well too. And as we've seen, he's gotten the first 2 outs of this inning. So
okay, all right. I also like how you're like.
But this isn't pulling your starter with 75 pitches. You know what I mean? This isn't that.
Yeah. I remember when Scott Service pulled George Kirby after 54 pitches, and he was pitching lights out. The pitch, and that's gonna be. And I like how you disagreed. You're like, nah. No, anyone else would be like, you can't say that. How dare you? Blocked.
The problem with Kirby Snead is the fact that he has a history of getting shelled. But the other thing, he's also got the walk. He's also got the walk history. And the one thing you don't want to do is have him throw more pitches where you start bringing that into the equation. So you take what you get. You take what you gave. What he gave you.
Sounds like, just by what you're saying, he may be just a temporary guy until Saucedo gets better. But when we do those 15-day things, it's usually a lot longer than that. The 2-2
for sure.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that will retire the side. Hate to say it, but great pitching by Trent Thornton. And we go to the top of the 8th, and the guys that will be coming up will be, shall I say, Mitch Garver. No, Mitch Garver already batted. So it's Ty France, Luke Raley, or Luis Urias, and Dylan Moore. I know I'm gonna kick this like a dead. Actually, I got another reaction. No! That's exactly how I feel. If only you knew Star Wars, you'd totally get it.
Well, the Mariners have an uphill battle right now because Yohan Duran's about to come into the ball game, and Duran's a phenomenal pitcher.
Great.
And so you're probably thinking that it's going to be like they're bringing him in the 8th, so this might be a 2-inning save type of situation. So the one thing that when you look at his batted ball numbers, it's going to be awfully tough to get hits off of Duran. So
We got a chatter. I love how they always say you won't lose giving up solo home runs. You might lose giving up. Wait, you might lose this game giving up solo home runs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
I mean,
I know what
you
you mean.
lose games if you don't score as well.
Well, the crazy thing was the fact that George Kirby, he wasn't sharp tonight, understood, but he still was able to keep this team in the ball game to a point where you're able to come back and win this ball game. It wasn't his best start, but it also technically wasn't his worst start. And even though the three solo home runs were given up early, the Mariners still had ample opportunity to get back in this game while Chris Paddock was still in.
And now we are back from the break, and Cal Raleigh from last inning, he hit that near home run, but man, they really got to move on from that because we've got to win. We got a ball game to win, not to dwell on something that happened last inning. We've got to move forward.
Well, what they really need is to get the leadoff runner on. That's what they need. Yeah,
I think we got this one. This is a Mariners dub. Take it to the bank. Dustin, put your money where your mouth is. Go to the casino and put your money on that. And now here's a fly ball by Ty France, more like a pop-up.
Yeah,
he's out.
Yeah.
Every time there's a pop fly, I'm gonna do it that way.
And the messed up part about it, it was a fastball up, not those were pitches that Ty France used to put into the gap. Those were those pitches that he used to feast on those pitches.
Man, it's just he may not be on the Mariners after the season or even before season ends. Who knows? Here's Luis Urias, and that is outside for a ball. And must I say again, Luis Urias has the weirdest numbers in baseball, I would say. Bad batting average, bad slugging. No, bad OBP, but he has a decent slugging percentage. That's how weird he is.
Yeah. Well, and it looks like the Twins decided to stay with Jax for his second inning, even though he gave up 2 the last inning.
Confidence.
This is
a pitch.
Yeah, but
gets the bottom of the lineup too.
Yeah, I mean, but that being said, though, I mean,
Urias really also has a 731 OPS. That's actually pretty. I would say that's actually kind of decent.
It's pretty decent. He's more than capable of hitting a double down the line, or putting one in the gap, or putting one in the seat. So,
trying to find his WRC plus.
Let's go, Luis.
The pitch, and that was a check swing foul. He also has a 0.6 wins above replacement, which is also still above Eugenio Suarez. Now we're looking at a 2-2 for Urias. He's got to get something going. The pitch, and that is inside. That was kind of a thrust back, and that's going to be a 3-2 count. If he can walk this, I will be very happy.
Luis Urias this year has a 116 WRC plus.
It's actually not bad, considering.
Not bad at all.
No, the pitch.
No, I mean, you want guys that are right there, hovering right around the 120 WRC plus.
That's like the weirdest numbers we can say. I mean, maybe I'll make a video saying Luis Urias is one weird baseball player because his numbers make 0 sense.
Yeah, no, you're right, Dustin. His Ty's baseball savant page does show a good batted ball profile, and that's the thing. It's like when he gets his pitch, he squares it up and puts it in the field of play.
The pitch, and now fly ball foul. That's the thing about Urias. It's like when he is on, he's on. Like if the ball is in the right place for him to hit, it will go somewhere.
He's always on like the break of dawn, COMPTON, in a city they call Long Beach.
If I could call Luis Urias a lazy player, I would say he's a great player when he wants to be. The pitch, and that's going to be a... And Correa nearly kind of dropped it, but he caught it.
Fastball up in the top of the zone right there, and just got under it. Oh yeah, he almost did, didn't he?
Kind of, but he did it in style. That's that's classic Carlos Correa kind of thing. Like he'll catch those kinds in style. Classic. But to be fair, the ball was very high, so I could see where it's coming from. Because those high pop-ups are actually death. Now here's Dylan Moore outside for a ball.
That's funny. Those savant analytic exit velo things are total garbage. Well, I wouldn't say that. They do tell a story.
The pitch, and that is outside for a ball. So, Dustin, are you one of those that were like all about the batting average, home runs, and hits and RBIs? Is that what you're all about? Tell me. We're talking about the 1-1 pitch to Dylan Moore, the pitch. And that was his pitch to hit, and that is a strike.
I think batting average is garbage. It doesn't even tell the entire story. I look at BABIP, batting average of balls in play.
When did you start looking at OBP? Did you look at OBP before Moneyball, or did you actually follow it? The pitch. Here's a ground ball right to Correa. He's got it. The throw to first, and it's in time. But at least we saw Dylan Moore make that hustle, but it wasn't enough.
I started. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I started looking at OBP in about 2004, 2005. OPS and like as far as traditional stats, those two are the ones that I usually focus on the most. But when it comes to analytics, I like to look at WOBA, ex-WOBA. And of course, with Baseball Savant, the thing I like about Baseball Savant is it does give you an accurate picture when it comes to batted ball profile. It lets you know exactly what a player does when he's actually making contact. The thing the thing that I like to remind folks though is that really this game is linear, so it really is about outs. How many outs created versus what you do with pitches and ball in play. And so, obviously, if a player is striking out a lot or is grounding out a lot, obviously that tells a more accurate picture than any traditional or advanced analytics stat will tell you. It's like how many outs is he creating versus how many hits he's producing. So like when you get a guy who's got an OBP of 360, that's letting you know that 36% of the time he's on base versus not. Same thing with batting average and things like that. But that's the thing is like exit velocity is not a stat that I usually pay attention to, because you're absolutely right. I mean, you can hit a ball straight to the shortstop with an average exit velocity of 111, but who gives a shit? It's still an out. I don't care how hard a ball is hit. If it goes out, it goes out. It doesn't. That's the thing. It's like it doesn't necessarily tell you the accurate picture of a ball player. I don't like exit velo.
Yeah. Oh, must I mention? So that whole thing that they're showing about Cal Raleigh, it should have been a home run thing because of the wind, made me remember. So the whole thing with Jason Churchill was Seattle Times made an article which I thought was very dishonest. They were trying to victimize the Mariners on their offensive utilities at T-Mobile Park.
Oh, because of the marine layer?
Yeah. So I simply just innocently just said Seattle Times are a bunch of liars, and then Churchill went complete full offensive.
Well,
and then here's the 0-1. And here's a fly ball to left field, and Julio catches that. He's very what?
He's a very good friend with Adam Jude, and he's very good friends with Ryan Divish, right? So they're all in that clique together. And the thing about it is you're right. That was a very disingenuous article because what was Nelson Cruz's excuse? What about Robinson Cano? What about
2001 Brett Boone, 2000 Edgar Martinez? Even A-Rod held up.
Right. It's like good players will hit at T-Mobile Park. I mean, Mike Trout kills the ball there. Joe Mauer used to kill at T-Mobile Park. Rafael Palmeiro. It's like there are plenty.
What's the excuse?
There's plenty examples of Mariners players, very good Mariners players, and opposing players that have come to T-Mobile in April and May and still crushed. And they were pointing out years when they were actually good too. Yeah, it's like the long and short of it is that good players will hit no matter where they're at.
So Adam Jude, he's famous for blowing up a political statement on the whole Julio and the Hector Neris situation. Adam Jude was the one that blew up the article, which I also thought. I mean, I follow some Dominican Republic baseball fans, and they thought what Seattle Times did was heavily dishonest.
Right,
because they actually know exactly what he was saying. The 0-1. Like what Nerys was doing was just simple trash talk. Like literally anyone would say that. I say that to someone when I think he stinks.
Well, you do realize that they're in the business of sensationalizing and getting clicks, right? This is not the old school news where they just told you what happened. They need page views.
They blew it up.
Yeah, they need.
And they did it to protect the Mariners from their embarrassment of losing that game. Well, but they needed a media distraction.
They engage in sensationalizing, hyperbole. It just is what it is, right? And it's also excuse making.
And now here's a line drive foul.
It's also excuse making for ownership, right? Trying to make an excuse for the reason why this offense is mediocre.
Ichiro would be the all-time hit leader if he played his entire career here, but the Marine layer. Yeah. See, at least Ichiro knew the pitch, and Ichiro could have been easily averaging a 25 per year home run guy. He could have easily been a 300 home run guy, but he was too smart for that.
Yeah,
he liked being on base because he loves to run.
And that's the thing. It's like when it comes to Churchill, he's just protecting his friends, but.
And I just happen to be the scapegoat.
I know Jason, and I'm not gonna put it out publicly, but I'm not surprised he did that. That's just all I'll say.
And now we're looking at the 2-2, and here's the pitch. And I called him out saying that he was unprofessional, and he tried to call me a kid in the basement. Now there is slight truth in that I do live in a room, and I will eventually live in a house with a basement.
Yeah,
but I still pay my bills in the house.
But that's very Jason Churchill like to say. I'll just say that.
I mean, if I wasn't paying bills and he somehow caught that, okay, fine, you have an argument. Fine. If I'm not paying my bills for my family, fine, you got me there. But the thing is, I pay the electric bill, which is a huge sum because we're in a 5-bedroom house with a lot of family members here, and we're looking at a 3-2. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
I don't think you need to defend yourself, man. It is what it is. That dude is that I wouldn't put too much stock into it because look at the source of where it's coming from, and I'll tell you a little bit more once we're off.
You will, yeah. I didn't even think you even have to say that. You could have texted that one. Oh, Dustin said Ichiro out hit Pete Rose, but you can't hit in Seattle. I love this guy. Right. Dustin, I hope you're subscribed to this channel because you are more than a welcome addition to this channel.
Yeah, the notion that the Marine layer suppresses offenses is
ludicrous.
It's misinformation. It's fake news. It's whatever you want to whatever.
It's a cover-up narrative to protect their reputation.
Yeah, it's
like this whole victimizing thing, which I don't like.
Yeah,
I used to buy into all that.
The Seattle Times sports section is a vehicle for excuse making for ownership, not just with the Mariners, but also with the Seahawks and the Kraken, the Sounders.
Oh, too. And now here's a ground ball, and that's going to be a fair ball, and that could actually get in some runs. I think they're waving around. Yes, they are waving around. Here's the throw to the plate by Rojas, cut off by the third baseman Urias. And that is going to be an extended run, 5-3.
Yeah. Good. By the way, that was a pitcher's pitch too, because that was in, and he put a good swing on that pitch. That really is not a hittable pitch. But
I wonder if you could challenge that. That looked foul at the moment because nope, that's fair.
It's fair. And so now the Twins extend it. Now it's 5-3. So we're going in now to the top, and in a few minutes we'll be in the top of the 9th, and that pretty much will wrap it. But that was a fair ball right over the third base bag.
I may have just killed it. And now here's a fly ball to deep right field, and Henniger misses it. He mistimed it, and that's going to be another run to make it 6-3. I thought Henniger may have had that, but he heavily mistimed it.
And again, pitch in on the hands that he barrels up, and then that's the thing. It's like Henniger. Yeah, the funny thing is he jumped.
He jumped too early.
Yeah, he jumped too early. I'm not gonna give Henniger
that
too
one.
Much on that one.
It's not like
But by the way, it's not like the ball skipped off his glove or anything like that, right? He just didn't have a good beat on that ball. And
Just like Jay Buhner when he mistimed it in 95.
Yeah, and so he tried to make a play on it. It is what it is. But by the way, and even if he didn't jump, he wasn't going to catch that ball anyway. It was over his head.
So it was a trying effort.
Yeah, at least he tried to make a play.
Star Wars night for the Twins is May 24th, while the Mariners Star Wars night's going to be June 12th, I believe. And I am definitely going to make it Star Wars themed. I'm going to Star Wars it up.
So
don't have it set up to subscribe, Will, though. Love the channel. I go to you and Big Nell for all the Mariners games. Who's Big Nell?
I have no idea who Big Nell is.
Dustin, who's Big Nell? Link me that YouTube channel. I'm curious who Big Nell is. It's not Marine Layer. It's not Couch GM. Not Mariners Mojo. Not Jay Trident Podcast. Not Locked On. And now here is going to be the 1-2.
It's Big Nell.
And gotta be someone.
Yeah.
And that is the end of the inning. And the Mariners are going to go into the top of the ninth with their top three hitters.
Yeah, that doubled it right there.
But that inning might have just killed their chances. And I think I started to notice that maybe the bullpen is starting to show a little bit of an exposition. And I mean, maybe it was a matter of time, because I think it does make a mental toll on, like, a pressure on these pitchers, because they don't have much protection with no Matt Brash. He's hurt, and then based on the fact that he's out, he has a 60-game IL, I would bank that he is probably out for the season. And then Santos, there's not much of a timeable on that. So I think once deadline arrives, they should go to the trading market.
Yeah, for sure. But also you have to think that last night they used Stanek and they used Munoz last night. So, so you're basically, and they use Spire as well too. So your top three relievers aren't, I wouldn't say they're not available, but in a situation where you're trying to protect a 1-run lead,
Santos' ETA is now May 26th.
Yesterday Tyson Miller gave up a run on 2 hits. Saucedo gave up a run last night as well too. What's funny is Spire actually only went 2/3 of an inning yesterday, so they could have used Spire today if they really
could have.
Same thing with Stanek. He only went 2/3 of an inning. The guy that probably wasn't available was Austin Voth. Tyson Miller also went a full inning, and Munoz last night. So you had a couple relievers give up 2 runs last night. Now tonight, you had a couple relievers that had a shaky performance a little bit. So yeah, I would think that outside of Stanek, Spire, and Munoz, it's shaky.
I still believe who we got up. Yeah, but Dustin, tell me who this Big Nell is. I'd like to see if I can collaborate with him. And I'm going to add Pablo Lopez to the fantasy baseball team tomorrow, because I'm pretty confident the Mariners will find a way to make him look like a Cy Young Award winner. And he's not available. He's taken. So someone already knows my strategy.
What was I going to say? The Mariners do have some capable arms down in AAA. I'd like to see Jonathan Diaz up.
We would. Here's Rojas, and he's chasing it. That's for a strike. And I think maybe just based on that, maybe the Mariners have already mentally.
Yeah. And here's Yohan Duran.
0-1. And that is a strike.
That's a big swing. Yeah, I would.
Bullpen did struggle today.
So if
0-2, and that is going to be a ball. And Paul, I will not be going live tomorrow. I'll be at work. # don't quit your day job. But if you want to help this channel survive the don't quit your day job syndrome, donate to this channel.
If Rojas doesn't get on here, if they don't get the leadoff runner, the leadoff hitter on, I would probably say that this thing is doomed.
Hey, Dustin, what do you think of all the other Mariner YouTubers out there? I'm curious about your opinions on them. And now here's the 2-2, and that's a foul ball.
I think I'm pretty good. As far as being a Mariner YouTuber, yeah, I think I'm all right.
I think so, yeah. The ones I really do get along, that I really click with, it's really just Jay Trident. We're pretty much partners at this point. The 2-2 pitch, and now ground ball foul back, shall I say? But yeah, Paul, I won't be there. But Friday, I'm looking to be there for the Mariners Oakland game, and I will say at least an exciting series. It's not going to be 2023 Oakland for sure, but it'll be a series. I'll say that.
Hey, by the way,
2-2.
This might be surprising, but the Oakland A's, I believe, are in the top 3 in total team home runs.
Woo! And this is Moneyball to a whole new level.
Yeah,
it might be more impressive. It's probably gonna be more impressive than 2002. And now we're looking at the 2-2, and here's the 2-2 pitch, and fouled again.
Yeah, Oakland right now is 17 and 23 games below 500, and I don't think a lot of people thought they would be within 3 games of 500 all year. So they're that little scrappy team, man.
Now here's the pitch. Now here's a line drive, and that went right to the glove. Can't believe we would rather play the Astros than the A's. Trident is awesome, overly optimistic. Yeah, he really is. But he's a cool guy, because sometimes when I see the overly optimistic people, I kind of sense red flags in them. But for Trident, he's an exception. He at least listens to opinions. And he's a good friend.
I haven't worked with Jay yet, and hopefully that'll get rectified sooner rather than later. But he seems like
inside. Yeah, you should definitely DM him. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, I have DM'd him. It's an issue of timing. So figure it out.
An issue of timing, yeah. Oh, man. We're looking at the 1-0, the pitch. Ah! Julio, why? You're like Pedro Serrano. Why? My friend over here saying, why? Why would you swing at that? Now I got to force choke you. Yep, that's what you should do.
Yep. Well, Paul,
3 for 4, though.
If you want to subscribe to Mariner YouTube, you can head over to the YouTube channel and
1-1. And now here's a ground ball right to Correa. He has it to throw to first, and it's in time. And we know it. This is just a matter of time.
Yep. And that was
here's Polanco, who strikes out like a mofo. Fans are already up. They're already feeling it.
Yep. Weak little ground ball right there.
All I can say is I'm happy enough just to do a game. I got at least the privilege and the time to do this game.
Come on, Jorge.
Paul Hahn, subscribe to everyone. Nice. The pitch. And that's outside for a ball. Paul Hahn, who's your most favorite? And you can't say Rooftop Sports just because you're listening to me. Like, I want to hear who you really like. Even if you say Mojo or Locked On, I won't care. The pitch. Dustin, did you put your money in the casino? If you didn't, I'm disappointed in you. You got to put your money where your mouth is.
Do you want to do me a favor and put out the YouTube address for the program?
For yours?
Yeah. Why don't you put
that for sure. Let me get to that. And now here is the 2-0 pitch, and that is a ball. If I can find it, because your video, your channel's. I mean, I'm not saying bad or anything. It's just that I got to find it. The pitch. And, oh, that's a strike. We're looking at a 3-0.
No, I can't even post comments.
I can't even find it.
It's on the Twitter feed.
True. Didn't think of that. And now we're looking at the 3-1, and here is the pitch. And a swing and a miss, and now it's game time.
Bop, 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 bop.
Locked On Mariners. Oh, Locked On Mariners your favorite, huh? What do you like about Locked On? I'm curious to hear.
There we go.
And here is the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 3, and down he goes, and this ball game is over. Mariners will fall. They are now down in the series 2-1. Hopefully Logan Gilbert can at least settle it to a tie, but officially the Mariners streak of winning series is over, and I think that's actually worth the video. So let me
Well,
play
actually,
a quick. Yes.
well, I was going to say, well, if they win tomorrow and they split, did they actually lose the series?
No, but they don't have the privilege. They don't have the right to win a series even.
Yeah, but still, they didn't lose it. I'm just saying. Yeah, you're
You're
right,
just
though.
saying.
I'm just saying they didn't
Um,
lose the series.
Mariners series winning streak is
There you
is over. That's what I'm going to say. After a word from our sponsor, the great. Well, first I'm going to do this. SeatGeek is a mobile ticketing app for sporting events, concerts, and other events. They make the buying experience easier by the app ranking each ticket from 0 to 10 to see if you are getting a good deal, and you can see exactly where you are sitting. I regularly use that app, and I have had nothing but a fantastic experience with SeatGeek. Use my promo code RooftopSports to get $20 off of your first purchase. Link to the code, app, and website will be in the description, so take advantage, and thank you. Well, the series is now down 2-1 to the Minnesota Twins as the Mariners just suffer this loss 6-3. And boy, things went wrong. Let's just go over the scoring summary. Carlos Correa launched a home run along with another Twin that made it 2-0. Second inning, another home run. So the first 3 runs were just purely home runs. And George Kirby, like, he was doing what he could. It's just those pitches just somehow landed in the seats. But then Mitch Garver put the Mariners on the board to make it 3-1. But then Castro in the 4th inning made it 4-1. Cal Raleigh gave some hopes to make it a 4-3 ball game with a 2-run double. Could have been a home run, but the wind was just too strong. Then Jeffers doubled, and then Kepler doubled, which led to it being a 6-3 game, which pretty much just iced the game. And going over the box scores, Rojas was 2 for 5. He actually did contribute. Julio, 3 for 5. He actually had a pretty good game, and I don't even remember if he even struck out, so that's good. Polanco went 1 for 5. He was terrible. He's been terrible throughout the entire series. And then Mitch Haniger, 0 for 3, including the fact that the ball went over his head. Cal Raleigh went 1 for 4 with that double, so that made up for it. Mitch Garver was 2 for 3, so he was quietly good. Ty France, 0 for 4, and we've been talking about on his future, the Mariners looking pretty bleak. And then Luke Raley went 1 for 2, but Luis Urias went 0 for 2. And then worst of all, Dylan Moore went 0 for 4. And any thoughts that you can say on this game, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, the basically getting blanked by a guy like by a guy like Chris Paddock, who, is not, God's gift to starting pitching. He's a guy that traditionally who's been roughed up in his career, and to essentially put up no resistance to Paddock was quite the shame. And considering what the Mariners had 10 hits tonight, 5 walks, and they couldn't generate any offense, and the only breath of life was a Cal Raleigh double that plated 2, and outside of that, this offense specifically was non-existent. And again, we talked about George Kirby. Did he have the greatest start tonight? He did not, but he also kept this team within shouting distance. And it's a shame that they allowed innings just to go by without any breath of life. It was a bad loss tonight.
It really was, and Mariners were actually in this game. And a very unpopular opinion, I must say, is I'm starting to be concerned about the bullpen because they got diced up yesterday.
Yep.
And now they got diced up against Houston, and now they're getting diced up today. And I'm starting to think that maybe the lack of presence of Matt Brash and Gregory Santos is finally starting to catch up. Like, they were actually doing pretty well throughout this season thus far, but now we're now looking at the fact that Mariners bullpen's actually struggling, and there were times where the team actually had the momentum, but then, and as I'm looking at the stats for the bullpen, but I'm starting to get concerned because, like, yes, they're third in bullpen so far, but they have been starting to lose it just a little bit, and I think it's starting to catch up that we don't got Brash and Santos because the pressure is probably starting to get to them. Like, when you're hearing the news all the time that Brash isn't coming back, I think it does put a mental toll on the team, especially not to say injuries is an excuse, but losing Brash and Santos is actually substantial. And when we just hear the news, like, you would think that it's putting more pressure on the other guys in the bullpen to actually perform. With the exception of the guys that just got called up, that's a different story. But maybe the ones of like the Thorntons, the Saucedos, who's now hurt. Now we're seeing wear and tears on them, especially Saucedo, who got a nasty little knee injury to put him out for at least 15 games. So any thoughts on and concerns do you have on this bullpen thus far as of recent?
Yeah, no, I do. I mean, in games where you're not seeing Gabe Spire, Ryan Stanek, or Andreas Munoz, you're basically at the mercy of Cody Bolton or Tyson Miller or today the new guy,
Kirby Snead.
Yeah, Kirby Snead, and you're just hoping that they get out. They don't put themselves in a position where they're going to dig themselves into a hole. And this is the second straight night where all of a sudden they allow a few runs late in the ball game to put themselves in a further hole. You're not going to win. You're not going to win very many games like that, especially with an offense that again just did not show up, especially after scoring 10 runs last night. So I just think tonight was a wasted opportunity, and they did it against a guy that they easily could have beaten. So poor form, and a wasted opportunity.
Just absolutely wasted, and it's unfortunate that that eighth inning may have just killed everything in that game, because you seemed that in the top of the ninth, it seemed that it was like, nah, we're done. Not saying that they like threw it away. It's just that it does devastate them. And I think I've said enough about this game that offense has been in futility once again, as usual, that we're used to. Kirby, we're not even talking about Kirby enough. Like, now granted, yes, he gave up those 4 earned runs, but aside from that, 3 of them could have been easily avoidable. But aside from that, I thought he didn't pitch terrible. Like, I'm not saying that this was like a great George Kirby game. This was a game where you can say it wasn't good, but it wasn't terrible either. Like, right. If the offense actually did their thing, this is just a kind of slightly less than typical George Kirby start, where he still could have gotten away with it had the offense do their job early.
Oh, absolutely. The thing with Kirby's tonight, his secondary pitches, outside of that, he was unfortunately leaving him up and out of the zone. The first home run, which was literally right out over the plate, got crushed. The other 2 were were a little down and in, but still though, I guess you have to give credit to Willie Castro and the other guy. Anyway, put good wood on the bat. But that being said, though, outside of that, I thought George Kirby did enough to win a ball game, and it's up. It's only 50% of the equation. The other 50 comes up with the offense, and again, it was mind-boggling. It was mind-boggling to see this Mariner offense flail against a guy who is literally hittable. But that being said, it's bad decisions at the plate where you're chasing instead of just being patient. And they certainly did not control the zone tonight. As a matter of fact, they let the zone get the better of them. It's unfortunate too. It's very unfortunate because I'll give you a good example. Like last night, Mitch Haniger, when he hit that home run, again, it was on a fastball up. And tonight he got a couple of those exact same pitches, including a slider that was literally right out over the plate, fouling off 2 of them and striking out on 1 of them. And it's the inconsistencies. It's the inconsistencies from day to day where you see the talent, but for whatever reason, it's not translating into results.
Absolutely. And I think we've said enough about this game, but going into the next game, we've got Logan Gilbert, absolutely the best starter right now on the Mariners. He has a 3-0 record with a 1.69 ERA, 50 strikeouts to 13 walks. And then we got Pablo Lopez, 3-2 with a 4.30 ERA, 45 strikeouts and 8 walks. So you would think that a guy who does give up quite a bit of runs, you would still think it would be quite opportunistic for the Mariners to at least split the series, especially when you got the best pitcher, arguably in baseball right now. You would think that the Mariners should at least have a solid shot for at least splitting the series going back home against Oakland, because you don't want to go 1-3 going back to Seattle against Oakland A's.
Right. And, the thing, the good news for the Mariners is the fact that you're going up against a guy in Pablo Lopez who will throw his four-seam fastball 44% of the time, and he does mix in a sweeper and a change. But that being said, you're going to have opportunities, to score some runs. It's going to be an issue of whether or not they're going to be able to keep that focus. But that being said, though, you're absolutely right. Tomorrow the Mariners have their ace on the hill, right? When you have that guy who's completely dialed in, there's no excuse. I expect the Mariners to come out and win tomorrow because, well, quite frankly, I just think they're too good to be consistently playing this way, but we'll see.
We'll definitely have to see. And that's actually going to do it for that post-game show. Now, maybe there are some comments to be seen. Let's take a look at them before we actually go. And I got to cut this video and as you can see, I have made some changes on my channel that I'm not going to do the post-game shows like every single day, because I don't want to do like a post-game show where Mariners lost a game that nobody cares about. But I feel like this is the one to actually do, because Mariners actually, they actually lost. Well, they lost their series. They didn't lose the series. They won't win the series this time. So I thought it was something worth pointing out as a video. And I think I'm going to post it either as Mariners series winning streak has ended, or should we be concerned about the Mariners bullpen? I mean, what would you choose? Like pointing out concerns for the Mariners' lack of bullpen depth all of a sudden hurting?
I don't know. I would probably list it. I would probably title it, the Mariners, the Mariners
series streak
come to an end, and then you can get into the bullpen issues,
which we already did. Sure, because had we had Brash and Santos, then they would have been available today, and there could have been. Yeah.
And that that is that issue is definitely a part of the reason, because when you're not pitching your three best relievers and you're relying on the Cody Boltons and the Kirby Sneeds of the world, it kind of emphasizes the fact that they're going to need another arm down in that bullpen. When you see trades already being made, Robbie Grossman went back to Texas, Luis Arias goes to San Diego. It kind of makes you wonder if the Mariners are, in that position where they feel like they're going to have to strengthen that bullpen now before the deadline.
Yeah, because you can't really depend on Brash and Santos. Like worst case scenario, they could be completely out for the season, and even worst case scenario, maybe Matt Brash can't even recover, because the way he throws, and he throws very violently. I mean, it's a
the good news with that, there's no structural damage in his elbow. I mean, MRIs have already come back, and there is no ligament tear, so it's just an issue of him not being able to recover. That was the reason why he was shut down, is for whatever reason there was still a twinge and there was still pain after throwing, and so it was taking him a long time to recover, so they shut him down. So maybe it's just an issue of he just needs an extended break where he's just not throwing, just letting the arm just relax and just chill out for a while. But that being said, I don't expect Matt Brash until August at the earliest, right? So
that's best case scenario.
That's best case scenario. The question with Santos is there structural damage, right? What is preventing him getting back to this bullpen before June. What is the underlying cause? And that, for whatever reason, has not been made available. So we definitely need at least one of the two. And if that's not the case, then the Mariners probably should get out in front of it and strengthen that bullpen so they don't have to trade off day by day because they burned their three best relievers. So something to think about.
It's absolutely something to think about. And let's take a look at the comments and let's take a look. Dustin, I was wrong. We ain't winning this. I told you to put your money where your mouth is, Dustin. And it was nice to meet you, Dustin. I think this is the first time on my show. Paul Hahn, you said you listened to Locked On Mariners. Well, I mean, you're free to go wherever you want to go. That one big podcast on a Hollier, I don't even know. Is that the Locked On Mariners you're talking about? Colby's a funny dude. I don't doubt it. He seems more chill than Ty.
I don't know, man. Colby is the type of dude that just loves to take a giant shit on players. You know what I mean? Like if you watch that podcast,
Didn't he say something about Emerson Hancock too?
Yeah, he took a giant shit on Emerson as well too. I just think that, I don't know, man. I can understand why people think that he's a funny dude. I don't necessarily find
maybe the way he says it is funny, so I don't blame him.
Yeah.
I think that's why I watch it. Oh yeah, I don't blame you. Again, at least he got 10 hits. That's a huge improvement. Yeah, but how many they left on base?
Right.
Thank God we won yesterday. Yes, and they won at the skin of their teeth again. Ty Francis Savant's all red, so he's actually good. Yeah, well,
Yeah, the Mariners. Well, so tonight, that was yesterday. Sorry. Tonight, I think that. I just think that they. It's interesting because when you have a situation where you have 5 walks and 10 hits, you should be able to plate runs. The problem was that. Again, they just put themselves in bad counts, put themselves behind the 8 ball. Where it's like, they had 10 hits, but were they consecutive? Were they in a position where they were going to be able to plate some runs? And it seemed like they were spread out a little bit, and they were, the Twins were easily able to work around them, except for the Cal Raleigh double.
Yeah, and that's all the comments. And actually, I think this is going to be it for the show. And just want to say thank you very much for being on this show once again. And I'm sorry I can't make it to every single game. I thought I was going to at the beginning of the season, but then, life happens. But I think I'm still very much in the running to get to the 100 games that Steve believes I do have a chance. I mean, I do think I'm going to double at least the 40 games, but we'll see. But
yeah, I mean,
that's going to do it. Yep.
Yeah. Just get after it, man. Don't sell yourself short. Just get after it, man. Make it happen.
Mariners baseball. Get after it.
After it.
The 2012 slogan.
The Electric Factory. Yeah.
That was their slogan, wasn't it?
Last year, I think maybe.
I think I can name most of them. Mariners baseball. There was you gotta love these guys. Yeah. Ain't baseball great? Soto Mojo, Viva la Mojo, get all of it. What a show! My oh my. Then it was the Mojo's rising.
Yeah,
a new day, a new way. Believe big. Mariners baseball ready to play. Like honestly, when Rick Riz was the one that doing the call because it wasn't Dave Niehaus, I think it was low key depressing because that we all love Rick Riz, but the fact that it wasn't Dave anymore is when it really hit. Like when you heard Rick Riz's voice, you knew that Dave was gone. Then it was Tom Hutler going, Mariners baseball, get after it, true to the blue, see us rise, and now it's Trident's up. I don't know.
Yeah, no, by the way, Trident's up is terrible. But back in the day, for all those old Mariner heads out there in the 80s, it was I Believe in Baseball over the wall.
I think the best one
is baseball.
The best one is Soto Mojo. I don't think anything's going to beat Soto Mojo. Or you got to love these guys. But anyways, I said I was going to go, but once again, thank you for being on this show. We'll try to be back on Friday. We'll stay updated. I have it scheduled, but we'll see. Everyone, thank you very much. Have a great night. Go Ems.
Soto Mojo.